hello, and welcome to the Video Game Dads podcast. This is episode 48.
48?
Thank you for listening. Yeah. Video Game Dads podcast, we're three guys in a basement talk gaming, fatherhood, and everything in between. We are your hosts. I'm Ben.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Michael.
Yeah, and Adam is out of the country. Just kidding. He's out of the basement. He's working. He couldn't get out of work, unfortunately, so thanks, Adam. Pour one down the drain for you. Yeah, so, gosh, thanks for listening, guys. It's been quite something. It is actually three guys in a basement this time. We're not lying. Sometimes we hop around. Yeah, sure. We are a... amateur, family-friendly, no promises on that we won't talk about some adult content, but you shouldn't have to earmuff very much. So no cussing.
Not too much
if you listen with the kiddies around. All right, and where can you email us, Michael?
You can find us at videogamedads@yahoo.com.
Yeah, and our Facebook, Shane?
Facebook.com/videogamedads.
Yeah, check us out, and we don't really tweet that much. This is, I say it all the time, we're a bunch of dads, we're a bunch of amateurs. We love our listeners, and we love hearing things like, the worst thing you guys can do is just not put out enough content and episodes. But I think the every 3 weeks is a great little sweet spot for us. We've been staying on tap pretty great. 2019 is a whole lot better than 2018, so thank you for sticking with us, because really, if we start to just have big times in between, you guys don't know when it's popping up and stuff. So we're trying our best here.
We're focusing on the episodes. We're working on the social media.
Yes, social media, and let's just say it'll be social media for a bunch of kids these days doing the TikTok and all this. The YouTubers that keep up with all that and Discord. I mean, they do that for a living.
That's got to be
They do the video game stuff. They're the ones that are invited to the conventions to be the talent and all this. So you kind of have to be. And then we kind of mingle with some people like that and other people in the kind of collector scene and industry. But we're just like, we put out the content. That's it. If we did video. That being said, I know we keep saying, but video is something that I was gonna bring
it tonight, bring the little camera tonight, but then it was like I have freaking poison ivy all over me, dude. Yeah, poison ivy all over me. Yeah,
so like Shane,
my nose was like just blown up the other day, so I was like, we're not putting this out.
Poison ivy's no joke,
dude. It's no joke. I'm really allergic to it, so it's like it gets really bad, and it keeps spreading and spreading and spreading. Wow. It doesn't stop, even with that pink stuff.
Calamine lotion?
Yeah, calamine lotion,
Taking a bath in that?
Yeah, man. No, I just right directly on. Like, you can see my arms right now.
Yeah,
they're just like directly pink. It looked like Hello Kitty did a little...
Yeah, I'm not giving you a fist bump tonight. So
yeah, you ain't doing. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Once
don't do that to yourself.
That stuff's tough, because I remember a buddy of mine had it, and he had it all over his hands, and he wondered, like, how did I get poison ivy just on my hands? I'm like, dude, it's your shoes, your shoelaces.
Yeah.
You walk through it, you touch your shoelace. He's like, dang.
I have it in between my
nails and fingers
and stuff, man. Right now, it's a horrible. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Steroid.
I got steroid, and the swelling's gone down and stuff. And then
if you hear scratching, that's what that
is. Probably. It's probably.
So some of the stuff we will be talking about on episode 48. We finished our little Mo Game Con in St. Louis. We'll talk about that. That was a lot of fun. Met a lot of fans. Had a bunch of tables. Sold a bunch of stuff.
Got some games.
We went crazy. Made some pickups and stuff. And then also this Sega Genesis Mini is now in the hands of people. It's like YouTube. 100 million things pop up.
All the cool kids got them right now.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. We got one from Sega 2 of all things. Can you believe that? But we have an embargo that 15 minutes to talk about it and 15 minutes of video, but we don't do any video. And just kidding about all this stuff. I'm just kidding. But it's nice to, we'll talk a little bit about the game list and what we're seeing from the quality of that sucker. Also, our handheld holla, of course, we'll talk about, and our patented video game book club, and we'll finally go through emails. Sorry we didn't do it last time, so we've got a lot of those to go through, shout outs, things like that. Also, a little word from our sponsor, Legit, but something else we're kind of shouting out that seems like pretty cool that we checked out at the con. So should have a pretty good episode for you guys. It's the getting into summer, guys, right?
It is.
Back to school. Back to school.
Okay,
I'm not a fool.
All these kids, back to school pictures are just flooding the old.
That's what I was gonna say.
Just flooding it right now. My wife just dumped those on Facebook.
Well, I mean, everybody
does it.
But I was thinking about doing one because Sebastian's just 2.5, and I'd be like, make, because he repeats stuff, and I'd be like, all right, back to just eating my waffles in the morning. He doesn't go to school.
Still the same old thing.
Yeah.
No, that's Lexi's going to kindergarten, so so we took the picture out front. It's crazy. This week has been just nuts prepping for schools, getting school supplies.
Yep.
Going for to go to eat hot dogs and meet with the teacher. And then the next day was 1 hour in school. And then the next day is a half a day. And then we finally have just like regular school where we send her on the bus. So it's like, the prep time on this.
Is there first year on the bus?
No, she went on the bus with her other school. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, my boy Alexander is his first year on the bus.
Oh, really?
But he's kind of all about it.
Wait a second. How old is he?
3.
3-year-olds get on a bus?
They have these like special buses that have like car seats almost built into like the benches.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's the one that
pretty
Lexi's
legit.
on. Yep.
I
He
didn't
likes
know
it.
about
He's like
this.
way up high. He's like, I ride way up high, and like he can see out the window and everything. And,
I know. We were like so sad when Lexi first was getting on the bus. We're like, oh my gosh, she's gonna be so just torn up on going. Absolutely.
So they're not
She was like, bye, Dad. Bye, Mom. See ya.
Alexander really likes the buses
Running.
because he like sees them in the street, like when we're driving down the road. He's like, oh, a school bus, and he like, really likes them.
They're not death traps anymore, because I remember the bus, maybe 2 of the seats had seatbelts.
Oh, exactly.
And it's like, why did they do that? Is it
Yeah.
just the state minimum back in the day? Like, I never had seatbelts on my seatbelt.
I was extremely concerned.
Yeah, I think it's still the same way, but when you're younger at that age, they have the 5-point harness or whatever it's called, the harness.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I think when they get older, it's still pretty much a death trap.
good,
And they also have two bus drivers, quote unquote.
Yeah,
they have
a
a
helper.
driver, and then they have like a helper who's like always
good.
in the back in case like some kid has an issue or something that they can like run over.
That's
and, like,
good.
help
I
them.
kind of
So-
remember that from my high school too. So I would have been in high school in the 90s or late 90s, mid 90s or whatever, and riding the bus. I have good memories about that. The bus is like, do you guys have good bus memories? I do.
No.
I have no. I wasn't a bus kid.
You weren't a bus kid.
No,
Okay.
I
lived
wasn't
really
a bus
close to
kid
the
for the most
schools.
part either. So, but a little bit. I think I did it for like 2 or 3 years. I always had an older sister and brother. So
Yeah.
But there was like a 3 or 4 year period where I did ride the bus, and no, it wasn't fun.
Wasn't
It was
fun.
always fighting and like,
really?
yeah,
But
always
see,
just talking crap.
I like this.
Yeah.
I like the social aspect of it, because I went to like Casey Mill, like the public schools or whatever. So you got a lot of different types of kids.
Yeah.
But like there was like the cool kids there. The kids that would yell at the bus driver and get kicked off the bus.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of
It was cool because then you would talk to other people that you normally didn't talk to in that time period when you're getting dropped off. But man, I tell you what, there's some kids that would mouth off, and so they would set up a fight afterwards.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
can
all right,
remember-
buddy, it's go time.
I can remember elementary school. I was in a kind of a weird situation where I wanted my mom to drop me off like 2 blocks away from school, so I could like walk up, because it wasn't really like cool to like have your mom drop you off or whatever. But
It's
if you
very
like
cliche,
walked up,
but
it
he's on
would,
the old
like,
Spider-Man movie. You
Yeah.
guys see that? It's like, say I love you. Say I love you. That movie's freaking great.
Yeah.
I would do that
Amazing.
too, though.
Yeah.
But no, I see that on like whatever, Stranger Things and all the other stuff. Like, oh yeah, you don't want to be pulled up out of school. But like I had the opposite effect, because a lot of kids hated being on the bus, and I was on the bus sometimes. But when I was dropped off by my mom, I loved it, because then I was like, they're a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I don't know, because then you don't have to sleep. You don't have to get up as early and stuff like that.
It was cool getting dropped off by like your brother and sister, because like they always had like a cool car, so it was like I'd pull up in the cool car, and then we get listen to tunes that normally I didn't get to listen to. So that was
well,
that was
I
dope.
don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
I had like metal. There was always a long line because I had to go through metal detectors.
Oh no! See,
No, we
I
didn't have
grew up
those
in
in
a
that.
small town school, so no
Yeah,
way.
Shawnee
Yeah,
Mission,
I was like
definitely
dangerous mind school. KCMO public school was like, that's suburbia. All the people left.
Yeah.
It's like, but I went, and I don't know. It was funny because I told stories about that later, and they're like, "Oh, you went," and it was just like a way of life. It was a normal thing,
Yeah.
but it wasn't necessarily due to like the shootings and the gun stuff that's happening a whole lot more now. I think it was just due to the fact that like that was the rules, and we would you'd never had anybody bring it in.
Yeah.
And they had the wands, and they'd wand you and everything, and they'd look through your backpack and stuff. But yeah, that is kind of crazy.
We had
now, looking back on
actually
it.
no security cameras, but see, like my junior year is when the Columbine thing happened.
Yeah, that was my
shooting.
When was that?
Yeah, it was my junior year. I know for sure.
How old are you? You don't know how old you are. You don't want to say.
I'm 37.
Okay. Okay, I was a sophomore. That makes sense. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
36.
so we had like security cameras installed. I remember they put in a bank of like 20 security cameras after that, and that was like, and they had like made our security guard, so we doubled them from like 1 to like 3, you know.
Wow, yeah.
And it was kind of a big deal at the time.
Nah.
No, it was.
Our students we still had gun racks in the back of the truck, and we're still rocking that.
Johnson County.
I'm a little bit younger.
Not so much. Yeah.
Middle of nowhere, central Kansas. That's you don't really care about it as much, I guess.
Yeah. The first
I went to a country club high school. We were good like at tennis and like swimming and like golf.
Oh wow.
And people like drove like Jeep Grand Cherokees in. I'm not gonna lie, like it's the truth.
Do you guys remember though? Do you remember like having a big deal about your clothes going in? Because that's another big thing that I don't remember. Like the first day of school, making sure you had a good outfit. Like
man, I always had to have that fresh outfit. That first week, I just wear my best outfit. Boom, 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 and after that, it was like who cares? Put it on replay. And who cares about
Tommy
halfway through the years?
And Nautica and all that stuff.
Nautica, little polo.
Nautica. Oh my god, we were so stupid. Yeah. But honestly, it's all back now.
It is sort of.
My wife and I were
tighter.
My wife and I were in the mall, and we go to the what's this? It's like a really cheap store as far as the clothes are cheap, but it's super trendy. But it's meant for only like teens and stuff.
I haven't been to the mall in like 10 years.
Okay, I forget what it's called, but basically all the stuff there are like really faded jeans. All the stuff my wife had me get rid of, like where the jeans look like this color gray wall, where they're real like acid wash.
Yeah.
Like that's what kids are wearing now. Mom pants, no belt. No one wears a belt anymore.
Yeah, belts. Or like girls wear like these shorts and then they pull them up as much as they can. That's the weirdest thing. That is so just no.
Yeah, no. It's what we used to call like mom pants. That's what they're doing now. It's interesting.
I know. It's almost like an 80s type of thing.
No, but it's like early 90s.
Is that early 90s?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's funny. Yeah, the stuff that like it's like basically like 1989 through 1993.
Yeah,
if you could take all my clothes, I could sell them to like hipsters right now for buco bucks. Like
got some Jankos in there.
Yeah, like
I don't see Jankos around though.
Faded shirts or sweatshirts, or teens now are wearing sweatshirts in the dead of summer.
Yeah,
and that's cracking me up.
Yeah.
My niece too. Like she came over and it was a good like 92 degrees, 100% humidity. She's in sweatpants and jeans, but like not comfortable wise. Like that's like the cool dress now at the mall. All the kids are wearing all.
Oh, man, that's weird. No way, man. I dressed comfort back then. It's like baggy, everything baggy as could be.
When does it get to a point our kids realize what they're wearing? Like my son, I always ask him in the morning because it's big about giving kids choice.
Yeah,
it's like we're always on autopilot, and I feel like we're so lucky. He's such a good kid. He sleeps really well, but like sometimes we just get on autopilot, and I think like okay, giving him a choice. So I let him choose his clothes out of like 2 choice, not the whole rack, because then he can't. That's asking for disaster. But I pick out 2 shirts and 2 pants. If there's a dinosaur on it, he'll always pick it. But then I confuse him by getting 2 different dinosaur shirts, and then he's really got to think about it.
Right.
And I love looking at his little head where his hair is all bad. He's like 2.5. He's like, the red one or something. Dude,
taking that red one.
Yeah, because otherwise he just defaults to dinosaurs. Like, there's not a dinosaur. It's either going to be Slim Jims or this not Breaking Bad. What the heck am I thinking of? The white rap group. Help me out.
White rap group?
Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys, yeah, you're right. So is
you're talking about?
Third base?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Third base. Does he like change his name every 2 years? Like first base, second base, third base?
No. He's like a DJ. I don't even know now because he's on his own. He's supposedly has skills, but he beefs with people. He's old school, man.
Sorry, we're jumping around.
Horrible.
Did you guys see? Okay, you know who Nick Offerman is?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about
Parks
already?
and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
He's a
Someone
comedian.
did his face swap on all the images of Full House.
Oh my gosh, I did see that.
Yeah, I did not see
good.
that.
And
so
whatever
funny.
that's called,
It's
like
freaky.
a deep fake of putting his face on all the intro to Full House. It is the funniest thing you have ever seen. And
check that out.
And I'm turning into like E-Bombs World 1990, showing everybody and sending it to everybody. Like, hey, check this out. Check this out.
That mustache, man, is just amazing.
Dude, and he looks perfect.
I know.
Like
they do a great job just booming
Uncle Joey.
Especially the little kids, man. That one cracks me up every time. Back of the car.
Anyway, you guys have to check that out.
Amazing.
It's 100% amazing. Yeah, but the school supplies, this kind of stuff. I always get back like $5 below. When they say like you want to give an extra $5 for a backpack, I'm like sure because I know where it's going.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. But I picked up some games. We talked about that a little. $5 below. There's some.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you guys have a $5 below in your town, just a little quick Shane.
Pro tip.
Pro tip: check out Five Below. They usually have video games, but usually just like overstock 1 or 2 choices, and they have it by their top rack of their
It had
electronics
in there before, I've heard.
Yeah, they're always $5 and below if you have the. They're not in every state. I kind of looked it up, so it's basically like a fancy dollar store that goes up to $5.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know what it was. I always looked at those, and I seen people post stuff there. It's like they found some video game stuff, but then I was like, didn't really put it together. And then when you told me that, I was like, okay, gotta start checking that out.
Yeah. I was the same thing. I didn't know what it was until I finally went there.
Yeah, actually, I was at the Five Below with my kid, and I actually kind of ran into a little issue. Recently been potty training Alexander. Yeah, going through that whole issue.
Did he do a 2 below in the 5 below?
He actually did.
Oh boy!
But I'm ching.
Yeah.
But I actually forgot to bring his like little potty seat.
Yeah.
So I had to just take him in the bathroom and kind of like hold him there.
Hover. Wait a second, old hover move.
No, not hover. He just kind of sat and I like held him so he wouldn't like fall in essentially.
Yeah.
But
then it's funny. Then it's just elbows and knees and a head. It's pretty great.
It got real awkward because normally I'll either bring like kind of a seat cover that's kind of like makes this toilet smaller so he can't fall in.
Yeah. So mid interrupt that's the thing to do, right? I didn't know.
It's either that. I've also just brought his whole like mini potty too and thrown it in the trunk and just had him like go in between cars before. Like I'm not gonna lie, I had that happen a couple times. But I think kind of bringing that little seat cover is probably the best method.
So he's like outdoorsing it. That's cool.
Essentially.
I've never ran into that, so maybe parents are good at hiding that.
But, yeah, we went to like Red Robin and just did that one time.
Yeah, you got to do it.
I mean, who's going to complain?
Well, on road trips, we take the potty chair with us and we keep it accessible to us. So then we'll just pull over on the side of the road and say, "Go on the potty."
Yeah, there you go. See,
okay. They were dirty, and then dump it out,
and then clean it. Yep, it's just kind of the whole method that you do.
I didn't know that was a thing. Good to know.
Yeah, that's the PWT way to do it, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, why are you going to stop at every bathroom? I think it's cleaner that way, better that way. I mean, I like where your head's at there, Mr. Michael.
I mean, sometimes you just got to do what's easiest.
That's better because right now it's like, full transparency. My son's 2, and I've recently discovered how much easier it is to like do showers instead of the bath. So I think I'll talk to that later. It's like boom, it's like done. It's quick. You shower him off. He does his hair and whatever, and then he's done. But he's been taking to using the shower as a bathroom. And he like kneels. But I'm like, in a way, it's like you don't say no or stop. It's like he knows, and it like associates. At least
he knows to go in that certain area.
Yeah, because he was going, he was, going pee in the shower. Not something I think adults should do, but as a kid, if it helps him realize and control what he's doing, and he says it and he's proud of it, I'm okay with that. If he's saying it, I don't mind.
Yeah,
that's a good move.
But the other thing, not so great. Not so great.
Yeah, so the other one, no.
He did that a couple times, and I'm just thinking like, now I've got to shower again in the shower. But you don't. You just like, okay, good job. Like he at least tells me he's going to do it. That's the thing. He's getting to the point where he's telling you he's got to go, and that's good.
We just finished up. No diapers. Potty training's done. Everything's done. So,
on everybody.
Yes, they're all good to go, man. Every once in a while, like Lucille, my youngest, she'll go on the bed, but man, we're lucky. I'm so happy to have that done with, man. Having kids, we had 3 kids in diapers at one time.
I remember that's when we started the podcast.
Oh my gosh, man! I tell you what,
I was just put in an awkward situation. I had no idea I was even going to be put in. I mean, I'm not going to lie. So when we were at this Five Below bathroom. When he goes to the bathroom, these little potties, he has a problem like holding his little wee down. And so, a lot of times he's just peeing all over the bathroom, all over the walls, and he's like he's so cute when he does it because he comes out and he's like, "It's okay, we can clean it up. It's okay. Don't worry, we can clean it up." And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. But now he like when we were there, he's like, "Hold my wee down," and like so you kind of like either have to debate. There's people in there, and you have to debate like whether you're gonna like hold his wee down real quick or just have him pee all over the place. So you kind of got to do it. And it's just like a dad thing that you just never think about that you're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah, you got to do it, man. You're the pops, man.
Oh no, 100%. But it's just like one of those things when he looks at you and he tells you to do it. You're just like, all right, and it's one of those things.
Yeah. You got to point the hang dang down, man.
Well, it's going to go over you too. I mean, it's like that was my option.
This is the reality.
It is true.
We're getting close. Although I've got another one on the way. So I'm thinking another 3 years.
The restart.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I can't believe it's already been 2.5 years. Like having a kid is you know, like everything they say, it's the scariest thing ever. It's the best thing ever.
Absolutely.
I love how it makes it easier to like, I don't know, like the video game stuff is less important. And I like that.
I do.
Because the video game stuff was kind of like filling that void. It's kind of like people with pets who don't have children like us. Like we didn't want them for a while, and that's perfectly fine. Have kids, don't have kids, whatever you want to do. But you do start to like around your 20s or 30s, like your body, and I really feel like your own like you know, inner workings wants to take care of something. So you start to like, I don't know, curate a collection. And I always would hear like when people had kids, like, okay, they got to sell it and they got to get rid of it. But I think it's kind of nice because it becomes less important. So then you could pass on to somebody else, and then you are still sharing your like hobbies, but you're not just doing one thing. Because right now, video games to my son is not a big part of his life. A big part of his life is like Hot Wheels cars, pointing out, throwing balls around. Like he loves like throwing stuff in the air. And I guarantee you,
in about a year or two, he'll see all this stuff, and really it'll click, and it'll start being something to him, and then that'll be a bond that you just can't get anywhere else. Man. Like because Deacon and Lexi, like there's certain games that they want to play with me, not with each other. Like so there's some games that they want to play with each other, but then it's like, Dad, I want to play this with you. I want to play that. You know, it's like it's almost a bond. So it's like the most amazing thing. You know?
Yeah, so. And that's the thing. I just because some of our listeners don't have kids yet. It's the bond that you have. But even if you don't, there's this fear of like what's going to happen to my like hobbies once I have a kid. And let me tell you, they go away. Like let's be honest, your hobbies are in the back burner, but then it's not a big deal because you think, oh, this is going to be in the back burner, and my life is going to be diapers and all this other stuff. But that's like nothing because you have this little kid say this magical stuff to you, and like look at you and do all this sweet stuff, and it's like it fills all the other stuff.
But then also starts to come back around too. Is like like because I'm at the point now where it's like kids are getting just a little bit older, and it's starting to come back where collecting's it's starting to get a little bit fun because for a little bit there it was like I want to spend no money on it. I don't even want to look. I was tell you honest, I didn't really want to look at it. I would want to talk about it. I still want to talk about it because I enjoy talking to you guys about it and our fans about it. But it's like, but just me sitting there is like I don't want to watch YouTube. I don't want to do that. I don't care about it. It's like I got other things to do. Now it's starting to slowly creep back in. Of like my own little thing. So
you would sometimes look like when you come and when you were in the heat of it with the young kids, like you just saw a T-Rex. You have this like look on your face, like we come down, we're all chilling, and you just look like you saw a ghost or something, like you just saw Flatliner or something. Like I just saw something real, dude. I just saw something real because you're in the thick of it. But that's what we say. Like I'm interested. Hopefully we'll still be doing this podcast, but 5 years from now, it would be completely like different. Completely different. I think we could actually do some extra stuff. Then it's filled with other stuff like soccer practice.
Absolutely.
There's always something, but
it's amazing when your kid starts talking back to you. Not talking back to you in a bad way, but talking back to you in a good way of just like Dad, I love, just like having a conversation with like Lexi is just amazing. Just a little personality. So it just really grows. So it's great.
Yep, that's awesome, and congrats too on the most recent.
The rescans. We have another set of scans though. We actually leave next Thursday, so we have to wait on those because she's getting her teeth worked on because her saliva glands got sort of messed up through the
radiation.
So the proton therapy. So it's not producing the saliva in your mouth that it's supposed to, so a lot of her teeth are getting really messed up right now. So we're trying to figure out how to get that working, and then but yeah, she's doing great though. I mean, but we got those rescans, so after that, but her first set of scans, great. So we're happy right now. So great. we're doing good. Lexi's doing great.
Great, awesome. Any more kid updates before we kind of get started? Anybody?
I think that's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you say we get started on our video game book club?
Hey, it's me, everybody, Tim Kittro. I'm here to talk to you about Old School Gamer. Old School Gamer is the magazine for gamers. It covers arcade and retro gaming, gives you gaming history and in-depth interviews with people like me who are there, and it lets you know what conventions are happening and when. Issues come out once every other month. Plus, a website full of even more razzle-dazzle, and it's all for just $30 a year. So visit oldschoolgamer.com and subscribe now. Whoa, boom shakalaka!
All right, our video game book club brought to you by Old School Gamer Magazine.
Woo!
Yeah. You guys hear that?
Awesome.
Boom shakalaka. He gets it. Yeah. If you one time, sorry, this wasn't an '80s nostalgia trip. This is a real sponsor of the show. We ran into them at Mo Game Con. It is what it says. Kind of how the Video Game Dads podcast is what it is. Old School Gamer Magazine is very much a magazine for old school gamers.
I think it'd fit in very well with you guys.
Yeah, so
good.
We try not to show that, we don't exchange money, this kind of stuff, and we try to just be real with you guys. And we hate if we were to recommend something that might cost you money or be out on something.
Yep.
But this, we met the main rep. I feel is the owner of the play. He was. They go to cons a lot, and
they advertise cons a lot in this magazine.
Yeah,
which is cool to me because I struggle finding cons a lot of the times. Or before I even did this podcast, I really struggled finding cons. And in this magazine, I think that's what they do. Is a lot of times they go to these cons, so then they rep the cons also. So that's really awesome to be able to have a list of cons that you might be able to go to in your local area. So
so it's bi-monthly magazine. So it's $30 for a year subscription. You can also get a digital format. But I'm just speaking mainly about the print ad. It's a nice magazine. It's that would equate to $3-4 per issue.
Yep.
Which I think is great. It comes with a little fun poster on the inside.
Yeah,
the one
posters are legit.
Cool.
Yeah, it's meant mainly for kind of like guys like us, and so that's why we're letting you guys know about it. Because if you're interested, we don't necessarily have a coupon code, but maybe they have something to say like where you heard about it. So you could say you heard about it on the Video Game Dads podcast.
Yeah, that would help us out.
Yeah, check it out. I think they even send you a free first copy or something like that, or at least they kind of say
if you in there. Yep.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, definitely look at the website. They have all the information on there.
Yeah, and they've got, what else they got in there, Shane?
They have features of platformers and stuff like that. Brett Weiss is writing some stuff in there. You guys know Brett.
Yeah.
We've talked about Brett on here before.
They'll put price charting in there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of price charting guide back there, which is really cool.
It's kind of a handy little thing.
I mean,
the
we should
poster
actually
is really awesome because it reminds me of almost like a Sports Illustrated or like a Where's Waldo type of deal. So you're having to figure out the characters because a lot of their issues they have a bunch of characters on the front, like on the one I'm looking at right now, Toomba, Kirby, Sonic, Mario, and you have to who are these characters? And you can sort of look in the magazine and you try to name them off before you go looking through the magazine. So it's just a fun little deal. It reminds me of being a kid. So, there was a few of them. I'm like, who is that guy holding that little gold jar? And then I could go in there and look. And it's like, it's him.
So we get a lot of correspondence randomly of people trying to tell us about a product or something, and it just doesn't fit for us. Or it might be like, hey, this PC thing that you can get and download this and that. It's like if we can't really figure it out, this is nice and simple and visceral. It's a magazine, it's a video game. If it sounds interesting, check it out. Thank you for sponsoring us. And
thank you.
Let's talk about these games. Video Game Book Club, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh, and it's at oldschoolgamermagazine.com, I believe. You can find it. Just put that in Google and you can find it. So, last week, we had our Video Game Book Club pick for the Xbox, and we had Mr. Shane.
Yes.
And what game did you pick?
Curse.
Yeah, Eye of Isis.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it is Isis. It was before that. We made sure. It's funny. When looking at coverage for this, sometimes they'll say Iris or whatever.
Yeah. Everyone say
and
Iris.
Everybody is doing
Especially
it, and they
now.
don't do it. Yeah, but anyway, it's Curse Eye. This is Egyptian theme, so we'll go back to it. That's the whole point.
That
of
was my
this.
whole thing. I knew that was because of the Egyptian theme.
Not terrorists.
Yeah, so that's our video game dad pick. And our video game listener pick was from Derek Lauer, and he did Timesplitters 2. So, what do you guys want to do first?
Let's do that pick.
Dad pick. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Curse. Xbox. Shane, we kind of talked about why you picked this. You picked it basically because it's it looks like a cool survival horror, right?
Yeah, pretty much like a Resident Evil style type of game, and it didn't disappoint on that.
Yeah.
It is a very much Resident Evil type of game, just not as cool.
Yeah, so it was from a British studio called Asylum Entertainment. It came out in 2004. It was also a PC game. It didn't make it to the PlayStation 2 here, but it did come out in Europe over there. But it's got a Resident Evil thing, which is also kind of up your up your alley, Shane.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have a fixed camera, that kind of thing. The storyline is a little bit different. The reception of the game was kind of mixed, but it got pretty good reviews, and now it's a real deep kind of hidden buried treasure type of thing. And we always do back of the box, but I kind of thought, like, let's do the back of the box early, because this is when we're renting it, right? So let's see if this lives up to our review. We sometimes forget to throw it in altogether, but let's read the back of the box. Because, internet, not as much of a thing. Evil has survived. A priceless Egyptian statue mysteriously disappears from a museum the night before a massive exhibition. And this is before, like, Night at the Museum. So read all that. Protected by an evil curse, the statue unleashes chaos, causing madness and violent death to all those who come in contact with it. Now, Darian Dane and his assistant, Victoria Sutton, must set out in search of the statue to find and return it to the pyramid for which it should have never been taken. A terrifying, thrilling battle against ultimate horror. Immerse yourself in distant worlds. Each more terrifying than the last. Control one of two characters, Darian and Victoria, each possessing unique abilities and weapons. Everything is against you. Even the most insignificant objects will become cursed and try to kill you. Combat horrifying creatures possessed by the curse with an arsenal of weapons, including a flamethrower, crossbow, mortar gun, trench gun. What is this? Trenchian? The gun guys are going to kill me. What is it? How do you say this? Trenchian?
Yeah.
I've never.
I'll roll with it.
It's like a vintage gun. It's like an 1800s gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like
I got accused on the Billy Club, so
whatever. I lose my gun.
They should have called it Billy Club.
Yeah, I only know because of Pawn Stars.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pawn Stars.
Shotgun, rifle, and pistol. Yeah. One player. Let's see. It only does in-game Dolby Digital. It did not have a lot of the HD TV support and that kind of thing.
Right?
Yeah. So, Shane, talk a little bit about this.
To me, it's almost like a Resident Evil /
Alone in the Dark,
Clockwork Tower type of deal.
Very creepy.
Very creepy, but
Clock Tower. Yeah.
But especially the opening scene is like you're in the middle of the area of the museum.
Yep.
And so very much Resident Evil, but there's no staircase or anything like that. But it's just exactly reminded me of that. It's like, you knock that off.
Yeah. So it's like a third-person action survival horror game, but the camera moves, so that's nice.
Yeah.
So the 3D
it's better
environment,
than it's definitely better than Resident Evil because it isn't so
constrained.
Constrained. And to me, Resident Evil was always trying to show off like what was going on around there, build up dramatic just through the camera. And this one does a better job of staying close to the action and being where the camera needs to really be.
Yeah, I thought the camera was really good.
I thought the camera was good too. I thought it did a good job of being where it should be.
The first thing I thought of was Indiana Jones meets Poltergeist.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's kind of makes total sense.
I was kind of thinking Indiana Jones type of thing.
Because the guy's trying to steal the Eye of the Isis, so...
Yeah.
So he's trying to steal that. So
storyline was pretty good, especially that beginning scene.
No, it was solid. It's a good game. It's just my problem with it is it just doesn't really stand out. Like the characters just don't really stand out. Like like on a Resident Evil, you had your characters. I mean, they really built on characters, and this one
and that wonderful voice acting. From the
that
Evil
voice.
games.
Oh yeah, that first one. Nothing like it.
Yeah, so the setting was kind of you're in the basement, you're in the tombs and the catacombs at the beginning, but it varies it up a little bit.
Yeah, museum, and then you're digging your way through, and
so how about this? The combat, I thought, I know we're kind of jumping around. So like basically the scenes are, you end up going on a ship, you end up being outside, you're
always looking for clues, and you're kind of trying to kind of solve this.
Yeah,
kind of mystery,
and it's kind of corridor fighting, it's scary but not overly scary, creepy.
No,
so if you're afraid of video games, don't let this scare you because it's survival horror, but survival horror light. Maybe.
Yes, I thought it was gonna be a lot scarier. To tell you the truth,
you can kind of see it coming with like the yellow smoke around the guy.
So yellow smoke, they really build up build up the music with the yellow smoke. So that was always my thing, but. So the problem I had is my Xbox. I don't know if it's messing up or if it was the cords or what's going on with the dang thing, but I only had half of the sound. So half of the time when I was walking around, I really couldn't hear anything. And then half of the time when I was trying to hit him with the little billy club. I don't know what they call it. Special little thing. I didn't even know what the heck they called it.
Yeah, his
little club.
His melee.
Yeah, I would hit him with it and it'd make no sound. I'm like, what's going on here? Is this game like glitching out or what's going on? So I tried to change the chords, do all these things. So I didn't get a chance to play through it as much as I wanted to, because it was like, I'm not experienced this. Am I missing things? Am I is there scary? Like I thought it was going to be a lot scarier.
Yeah.
So,
right.
And I don't know, like you guys probably played further along with me, because I jacked with my S cable like a ton trying to get this thing to like pump out the music the way it's supposed to, or the sounds.
Well, so let's the combat especially. Let's talk a little bit about that. So you were saying about the melee, even though you couldn't hear it. I think the sound was okay. What I liked about it was when you killed somebody. Well, like and didn't like when you killed somebody, the curse was there, and then the curse left. So you but you could still be like hurt by the curse, right? The curse takes over things.
You didn't want to like stand in the smoke, pretty much.
Yeah. So that can kind of hurt you. So you just kind of have to learn new things, but it doesn't tread. It kind of treads on things done before. The setting is different. It's spooky. It seems to be a well-produced, well-made game. It's not overly janky or anything like that. So it's kind of gotten this, if you like this kind of genre of game, or you happen to randomly rent it, you would have thought like, oh, this is a great game. This isn't like a cruddy game. But does it do anything completely different than any of the other games that you've played before? Like, not a lot, right? Not a lot. And
the flamethrower was pretty cool.
The flamethrower was cool,
I don't know how many other games had flamethrowers at that time. But
I
don't know.
Well,
and you can never beat a flamethrower. The flamethrower is always good. So.
Right, and that came in handy because, I don't know about you, but did you guys ever get to the rats?
No, I didn't get to the rats.
But I had the flamethrower. I probably played like an hour's worth.
Oh, okay.
Hour and a half.
So
you probably just got the flamethrower.
You get these enemies, and if you know with your shooting, right, so you'd shoot people and you can kind of pick what area of the enemy that you're going to hit. Like you could hit the arm or the head or something like that, kind of like a it gives you some nuance to the shooting. But when you have rats on the ground, it's kind of hard to shoot rats. You can't. The only way you can, and the thing is, they can like hurt you and kill you, and they're super annoying. So you have to pull out the flamethrower, and then they scatter. I wish I would have known that. Yeah, I know. I wish I would have known that ahead of time. So the story is interesting. I think the voice acting is good. I think what's funny is I played another game called Haunted Mansion for the Xbox, and I played this a long time ago. You're talking this is 2006. I remember because I heard it was a good game. Haunted Mansion for the Xbox and stuff is a Disney game, but it's like a lighter version of this. It's it's a little bit more arcadey and fun, but the art style and animation is very, very similar. So if if you want a game like this that you could probably play with your kids, this will be a little too spooky for kids, I think. It depends the age.
The intro,
like 6-7-year-olds and stuff, I would not. This is not a game for them. But if you get Haunted Mansion, which is similar to this, this is like an alternative, just to throw out there. And I love that game, by the way. So it's like. It's never on any kind of hidden gem list or top whatever games or whatever.
I think I have it on the Saturn. I'm not sure
it didn't come out on the Saturn.
No, it was a different one.
Yeah.
And Alone in the Dark too, like what I said, if you played all the old Alone in the Dark games, like that was the first before Resident Evil. I think you'd like this game.
I think it'd be right up your alley. It's definitely worth a play. I mean, if you like those type of games like Resident Evil, Clock Tower and all stuff like that, definitely check it out.
And the story, spoiler alert, they pull one of those like, oh, the other antagonist is like your twin sister, and that's what it is. Like And so I did skip ahead and at least watch the last couple boss fights, and they seem kind of underwhelming. Like the bosses aren't too bad. It's basically like strafing. And I will say those bears at the beginning were kind of difficult.
That's the thing. The puzzles on it, it's just sort of it's underwhelming, the puzzles and stuff like that. It's no RE, man. I mean, like RE's, some of those puzzles is like matching up the photos and stuff like that and everything, the pictures, and it's like, God bless, this sucks. You almost need a strategy guide, but you could sort of figure out if you don't have one. But this one is just like, I wouldn't say it holds your hand, but it sort of does. It's easy. It's easy. You know what to do.
What about Michael? Anything else you could think of about it?
No. I was going to say it's definitely not a difficult game. I would say pretty much. Multiple play levels anyone could.
You'd be fine. Yeah, you'd be fine.
It's expensive?
No. So complete is $20, and
that's expensive for an Xbox game.
Sort of, yeah. They're starting to creep up there a little bit. Because, you're really not going to find anywhere else.
For an Xbox game you probably haven't heard of. Let me phrase that. For an Xbox game you haven't heard of, to find out it's $20, that might be your clue to know that. Because it didn't used to be like that. When I picked it up, it was still like $6-7.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably jumped to
I guess
recently.
It must
and
be
like loose disc is probably 10 to 12, or loose disc is 10 to $12. So
okay,
yeah.
The horror genre is pretty popular right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Probably pick it up if you could catch it, for a little bit of a deal, or even at $20. That cover art's rad.
Yeah, Curse.
Good game.
The Eye of Isis. The name doesn't hold up too well anymore, but just so you know, that is the name of it. It's an interesting game. I liked it. I think I like that it exists, and I've had it forever. I played it a little bit at the beginning, played it a little bit more. It's hard for me thinking about grading this game.
It's a hard one.
Yeah, so sure. I'm going to do 4 out of 5 because it does what it does. It does it well. It didn't disappoint. It just didn't do anything new, right? Yep. But the production value is really good. The gameplay, the graphics, I think, are well done. They're not super blocky. They have a smooth effect. I like the
graphic,
back in the 6th generation, they really tried to get angular and great and make the graphics as real as possible. And you look back at them now, and that's why a lot of PS2 games don't age that well, because they tried to go as realistic as possible, not knowing like PS3 and the next 360 ended up doing that a whole lot better. So as soon as that came out, everything looked dated. But when you had this kind of stretch stylized, which segue to our next game, Timesplitters. That's why Timesplitters still holds up too.
It almost reminds me of graphic-wise of sort of that same style.
Yeah, they kind of went like, okay,
it's almost bulky, not so jagged, just really bulky and flattened out. This looks nice.
You can't really get photorealistic. So you have to kind of take some liberties and make it look not quite cartoony, but stylized, like the Disney Infinity characters, how they all kind of live in their same universe. And that's why I think it holds up pretty well. Okay, grades going around the room. Michael?
I'm going to give it like a 3.5, right?
3.5.
I'll do a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do 3 just because, I'm a big RE fan. So just comparing it to that, I think that's my biggest issue. But it's still a good game. Definitely worth a playthrough.
Yeah, look it up.
And I'm going to play more of it too because it was fun. It's a good game.
Yeah. So check it out. If you probably haven't heard of it.
What'd you give it? How many baby balls did you give it?
I started it out.
You said 4? Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 4? I started with 4. I think it's worth a 4. I think for what it does, we have to remember, like, this isn't for the time and the place, and you pull out a random Xbox game, are you going to have as much fun? Do you kind of see that the developers put I feel like effort was done in this game.
Definitely.
And I feel the port could have been janky and not well done, because when it was mainly going to be on PC and they ended up making sure this was ported to the consoles, that didn't go so well back in the day.
Right.
And the fact that there's like nuance and good sound, and they have like a pretty good, the menu system's easy. They didn't have a lot of like the loading times.
That's the one thing to mention is the doors. When you're going through doors, it doesn't have like RE does. It's really fast. I'm not gonna say it's a lot faster, but it's a better pace than it is on Resident Evil. It's like I like the pacing of it. It's really well.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I gave it a grade. I think it's a really good game, and if you could find it for cheap, pick it up. Even at that, if it's under your genre, if it's something that might sound interesting to you,
worth the $20.
Yeah,
for sure.
check it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to our next game. This is our listener pick, Timesplitters 2.
Ooh.
First off, what system did you guys play this on?
I have it on GameCube personally.
Xbox.
I did Xbox too. That's funny. Yeah. I did Xbox too. So Timesplitters 2, for those that haven't heard about it, it's kind of like getting close to the 15%, but I figured it's a good, it's not GoldenEye and that kind of stuff. It's a first-person shooter, and it was developed by Free Radical Designs, and you might know them because they were a team that kind of got together, and they were the guys that worked on Rare. They did GoldenEye. They did.
Did they go after
Perfect Dark?
Yeah, so after Rare split up, they
because PS2's after the 64. You mean like they left, and really after Perfect Dark, the Perfect Dark guys kind of got together. GoldenEye was kind of just a one-off shot. Yeah. So the fact that they continued to make games is quite something. It came out on PS2, GameCube, Xbox. It's the second game in the Timesplitters series and a sequel to the original Timesplitters. A lot of people think that this was this was the better one to pick out of the two. Timesplitters 1 is still great, but this one is just a lot more polished. What year did this sucker come out? I'm trying to see here. It looks like 2002. Oh, man.
2002.
Good year.
Gosh.
Freshman year of college.
Yeah, that's my sophomore year of college. Yep, I remember.
Junior year in high school. No, I was a senior in high school.
Senior still? Oh, man.
Senior in high school, baby.
Young one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this got some pretty good...
Do you want me to read the back of the box here?
Oh, yeah, go for the back of the box. Go.
Okay. It says, through a rift in space and time, pursue the hideous race known as the Timesplitters and eliminate their fiendish schemes to end mankind's future. And it says, blast through 10 environments in time, such as the Cold War Russian military base, the gangster-ridden 1920 Chicago, and the futuristic surface of Planet X.
Cool. They didn't mention the Tokyo one. I love that one.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yep. An action-packed, epic story unfolds through the multiple objective-based missions with surprisingly animated cutscenes. Surprisingly.
Cutscenes are a thing.
Yeah. Rage all-out war against insurmountable odds, utilizing the most lethal weapons of every era. Choose from over 100 playable characters to fight with or against in furious multiplayer mayhem with up to 16 players using iLink. And it says, iLink.
What's iLink?
I'm not even really sure.
It's iGone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not really sure about that. It says, create your own single or multiplayer games with the brilliantly simple map maker.
Yep. Yeah, the map maker.
There you go.
Sweet.
Yeah, so you're going through all these little travel areas. You have to get these crystals, and you're basically hopping through quasi-Quantum Leap and Stargate, which were popular at the time, right? Yep. So you're Space Marines on Earth, and you're sent out to go through a space station. When you end up in this time, you like take over. So when you're in the alien world, you kind of like an alien, that kind of thing, robot, so on arrival in each period, you take that form
of that person,
like Wild West, you take on a bounty hunter, which I like because it varies things up, and the gunplay,
I like that aspect too.
So right off the bat, it feels a lot like this was from the makers of the GoldenEye. The gunplay,
Perfect Dark.
Oh yeah, it feels and plays just like that. And
especially with the guns.
Yeah, definitely. And did you either of you guys play this back in the day?
Nope, I did not. But I played it probably like 4 or 5 years ago when I picked this up.
Oh, okay. What about you?
I had some weird time of gaming, so I did play it back in the day, but it sort of fell to the wayside because I played it, or I rented it, played it, and didn't love it just because it was jarring for me to go from the different time periods. And then nobody else had a PS2 at the time because that's what I played it on. And, my buddy had, my best friend had a GameCube, so he didn't have it on his system, so we weren't playing System Link, and we weren't doing anything like that. And I was playing more on his system than anything. So it sort of just went to the wayside. But man, I missed out big time.
Yeah.
This game's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm reading a little more about this, and it's quite interesting. So like a year before Perfect Dark came out, that's a lot of the members left. And that's when they did Timesplitters. And so it was like almost a 2-year, 23-month cycle of like making this game. So that was, I don't know, I would say about average for the time back then. But it was also like kind of rare to have a first-person shooter of this high quality come out on that many different systems.
Yeah.
I can only imagine like it was probably like pretty strenuous to develop this game and have it come out so well.
Yeah, see, then another thing, too, the problem was I discovered Halo probably a month or two after this. So there was no point to go back because I was like a Halo fan, loved the engine, how everything ran on that, which is... They're sort of on the same level, but then they're sort of not because this one has character and, has, a map builder and has things that stand out.
There's a lot of extra stuff on there.
Yes, this thing's crazy.
The multiplayer and the like little mini games. It's definitely like you get your money's worth with this sucker.
I love how it has bots. Like I like having bots because that's a lot of the stuff I would play. I wouldn't play the single player a lot of times. I would end up doing the bots or the little mini games that they have on here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I do that a lot of the times too.
Cool. What was your favorite mini game or whatever?
Like the zombies one, man. That was cool.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with zombies even back then.
Yeah, definitely. The control I think is good for the time. It takes a little getting used to if you're used to modern shooters to kind of go back to this control scheme.
Yeah, that's the only thing I kind of had an issue on.
Yeah,
was because it was kind of still like the GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, where other games like Halo had kind of moved on to I think kind of more common.
And I'm not for sure.
It was right around that time.
I'm not for sure if I played Halo before this or at the same time. Like I must have, because maybe that was one of my issues. Is when I played Halo, is like the controller just seems a lot more fluid in the way you should actually shoot. And when I played it, I was like sort of stuck in the back. But it did it the best though for that age,
right?
Of, shooting games. Like it did do it the best with the control style.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
No, I agree. So it would have a lot to do with the controller of whatever system you're playing on too.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like the Xbox and PS2 are going to be pretty similar. The GameCube is always tough for me for first-person shooters because of all those little extra buttons and stuff.
Little nubby.
And then I'm used to
the old little nubby.
Yeah. Then I'm used to kind of the Turok thing, the weirdness of that with. Well, speaking of, let's do a quick. I forgot. Turok's going to be pre-ordered for limited run games. Sorry to throw that in the middle of this. So I love Turok for 64. So
hold second, what system?
Switch.
Really?
Yeah,
that's big time.
It's just going to be switched tomorrow, so it'll be a couple days after. Sorry, this comes out, but we record on Thursdays and it comes out on Mondays usually. But yeah, Turok for the Switch and Turok 2, the 64 one, and it's a very improved version because a lot of the fog gets moved back.
Lifted, yeah.
And there's some reviews of these ports that you can, I think, already get digitally. But they also have this special edition that looks like a Nintendo 64 box that has like a not gold, but like a metal 64 like cartridge.
That's
I'll have to show you guys after. Like anyway, check it out. It's I don't know if you're into that. It's kind of I don't get a lot of limited run anymore, but that one looks really freaking great. So and they sell them in like a double pack and everything. Sorry, back to Timesplitters. Adam was really a big fan of this one too. I know he played the snot out of this.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You kind of what's great is at least if you're going to all these different time periods, the control is the same. But yes, it's going to be one of those things where you're like, oh gosh, when you're zooming in on stuff. I would just say if you start to get frustrated, I would recommend doing the auto aim.
Yeah,
that's what I ended up doing, and that helped a little bit because it doesn't hold your hand. But like, I don't even think you could jump. Right, you can't jump.
You can't jump. No, you can't jump, which sort of stinks.
But that's
not the end all be all.
Yeah,
I always sort of hated the bots could jump around, but you couldn't jump around like them type of deal. That was sort of pain in the butt. So
yeah, definitely.
I love to have like the guns just broad. It was just amazing. Like all the guns they had, it reminded me of like Perfect Dark. I mean, it makes sense, but they had so many guns and the sound effects were awesome on it.
Dual wielding.
Oh, dual wielding.
That's always my favorite.
Was it P90s? Or is it P90s?
Yeah, so I mean, I love the dual wielding guns, and I was playing with my buddy like 6 months ago, and we were pretty much tearing it up. Playing co-op, absolutely. Nice, it's pretty fun.
Can't beat that.
This is one I just wish it would get like a modern remake or collection. What do you got about that?
Yeah, no, they're actually making one. I actually heard that today on like YouTube channels.
Oh, really?
Watching like a Spawn Wave. I think it was like Spawn Wave I was watching, but they're not doing a remake of it. I've heard they're actually wanting to do like a full blown like sequel, like full blown reboot type of deal, just making it a big world type of. I don't know, man. Yeah, they're trying to blow it out. I guess just not like some quick little remake.
I could see
which I'd have been happy with a remake. Like,
I think that would be like an E3. Why are they announcing it randomly now?
Well, they just got sort of leaked out that they got the rights to it. I guess. Okay. So THQ, what is it? THQ. I don't have it pulled up in front of me. THQ, whatever they are, company. Just acquired the rights, and they said that's what they wanted to do. So we'll see. We'll see what it turns into.
Yeah. So Timesplitters 2, it's kind of like the amalgamation of a lot of different great things that makes the whole piece very good. I think I like it better than Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
I think GoldenEye beats it in nostalgia for me personally.
Yeah.
But there's some people who love these games, and I totally get it. I totally get it.
I wish they would just do a reboot because it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because it has the character sort of like a Fortnite where you have this sort of weird like a gingerbread man or like a zombie and this weird random crap. That's awesome. As character, unlike Halo where it's blah. Red versus blue.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, and the same with our previous game, the stylized kind of characters.
Same kind of graphics.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's not much in terms of they talked about the cutscenes on the back of the box, but there's not many of them. But they're done well, and it's silly.
And the music is fitting for each one that you're going into, each time zone. It's really awesome. Is that the music just fits it perfect.
Yeah,
it's really good.
You feel like you're in the environment. Absolutely.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kind of. What more can you say? It's a very good first-person shooter. How much is it?
Oh, actually, I have multiples on these because I knew we all were doing different ones. So
yeah,
we're gonna go. Let's GameCube. So GameCube complete is $20, 15 loose.
Okay.
So Xbox is $8.
Yep.
$6 loose.
There you go.
A little PS2. Oh, I got the wrong one there. $13 and 10 loose.
Okay.
All right. So not too bad.
They made a lot of them. It sold reasonably well.
You want to hear something weird though? Is Timesplitters original on the PS2, $27 complete.
Okay, maybe it didn't
sell as well. Yeah, not as common. I don't know. It's sort of weird.
It kind of makes sense. Like Halo 2 is like, you see Halo 2 way more than Halo. I think.
True.
Yeah, the print run was probably a lot smaller, I'm sure.
I don't know. Halo's packed in, so I don't know. This wasn't packed in with anything, so I don't know.
Halo's packed in with the clear green one.
Clear green one. I think it actually came with one of the later release boxes. They gave you some Halo game. Yeah.
As well after that too.
Yeah, I think so. I don't quote me on that. But I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Can't believe how long it's been. It's crazy how long it's been.
Yeah, my brother had the Halo Edition Xbox 360. So maybe that was it.
Oh,
all right, I'm torn between a 4 and a 4.5. I'm gonna say a 4, and if it had nostalgia, I would go 4.5. But I'm really torn. What about you guys?
I'm gonna go 4 also, just because the controller man, if it would have came out, I don't know, that it came out a little bit before, it would have been a little bit different. It would have been the best of the best, but it came out a little bit later towards the end when Halo was coming, so I got to give it a 4.
Give it a 4 because of the release date. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, sort of, just because of time period, what it was going against and what your controllers could have been. Type of deal. Okay. I know that's weird. Sorry,
I'm
guys.
still going to give it a 4.5. I thought the overall play was really fun, and even just going between time zones changed it up enough that it wasn't monotonous and dull. So
for a first-person shooter at the time with all the World War stuff and all the other stuff,
different types of weapons and everything. I thought it worked well. So.
I agree. It's definitely worth checking out if you missed this. So thank you for that. All right, so we just did our Video Game Book Club listener picks. For this next one, because we're switching consoles, we're going to do 2 listener picks because our pool's getting a little big. We added 6 or 7. We'll go through the emails, but I can tell you the new ones we added after Back to the Future for NES, Samurai Western for PS2. We'll talk about emails and stuff shortly, right before or after our Mo GameCon talk coming up. So we could talk about the emails, but X-Men Legends 2 as well. Katamari Damacy. It's funny, a bunch of PS2. Katamari Damacy for the PS2.
Wow.
Cannon Fodder for the SNES, and then, of course, an NES game, Super Spy Hunter. Those were all added to the pool. So we did 2 listener picks. We did it in our official randomizer, our little bingo ball.
Bingo bango.
All right. So
more pew boppy.
They're both kind of number 33 got pulled out, and that is Dante's Inferno for the PS3 and 360 by Wyatt.
Okay.
Dante's
I've never played
Inferno.
that one.
Yeah, it's very much a God of War type game.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. It had a lot of press coming out, and then kind of fizzled out, but I didn't play it. It's a mature game for sure. There's got all sorts of stuff in there.
I have to borrow that one. I don't have that.
Yeah, I got it. And then our other game actually was one that just got put in, Samurai Western for the PS2. So we'll get to that. That lucky listener just got lucky because we still have, let's see, number 2, Battletoads and Double Dragon for the SNES. It's been there 2 years. It's still in there.
Just hanging.
Yeah, just so you know, if your pick is still in there, this it's Metal Storm, Flying Dragon, Low G Man, Sarge's Heroes, Cyborg Justice, all those others.
I'd like to try Low G Man. That'd be cool.
Didn't we do Claymates?
No.
We never did Claymates?
I don't remember Claymates. No.
We didn't talk about Claymates?
Nah.
I thought we did Claymates. But
I think we've talked about Clay Fighters before,
okay.
but
I
don't think Claymates.
Okay, fair enough.
A little different.
All right. So those are our video game listener picks for next time. Samurai Western for the PS2, which we'll talk about soon, I guess, too. And Dante's Inferno for the PS3. 360 will be our video game book club picks for the next episode. So we had a convention about 2 weeks ago now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Went to a convention over in the old St. Louis. I've gone to every one of them. Was this the 4th or the 5th now?
You need like a shares badge there now, man. You're the man.
Well, you guys have been to all the others outside of year one.
I went to year 2. I missed last year because I had a kid.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm second. Yeah, I've been to the second. No, Adam's been in the same amount as me. So.
Yeah. So all of them. But anyway, we're sorry. It's not trying to be a race of who's been to all of them.
Ben wins.
Yeah. No, it just it's in St. Charles, Missouri. We always kind of plug it. We all decided to sell stuff this time. We saw some of the fun people that were there. It's always nice, it's just, we talk cons. It won't be that much different than any of our previous ones, but conversations. I mean, it's always fun. It's always great. You see a lot of games. You see a lot of people that This time was different because I think all of us...
Yeah, we're in a different gear.
We were more just selling and getting rid of stuff.
Yeah.
But first, I like a lot of the listeners. I'm going to give some shout-outs from the get-go.
Shout-outs!
Yeah. Dan, Aaron. Aaron was great. Aaron came up and helped out a lot and played games with him after. We could talk about that, but... he was just really helpful helping to set up Teardown, and actually also
he's really good at Mario Brothers and Galaga, by the way.
Yeah
BTW.
Elliot as well. Elliot was really helpful. He actually reached out to us so thank you, Elliot, by email offering to help bring out games. And so I was going to go with my wife, and all of a sudden, my wife's 5 months pregnant, going on 6.
Yeah.
Really about 6 now. She ended up getting super dizzy and was throwing up. She had this inner ear infection.
Wow.
So she couldn't go. So I had this huge Airbnb by myself.
Yep.
And but anyway, back to Elliot. He offered to take some of my games down for me just on a whim, and that would have been helpful because I wouldn't have had the room for it. Adam was going to bring his trailer, but that didn't work out, so I was left with a few days left. Oh crap! How am I going to bring down all my games?
Yeah.
Am I going to even be able to sell anything? And it was nice. It just worked out since I went by myself now. I wasn't able to bring Sebastian and wifey because she just wasn't feeling well, but it worked out. I was actually thinking I wasn't going to be able to go last minute.
Yeah.
I was going to have to back out, but luckily she started feeling better, not better enough to go to the con and sit in a car, and we also had some friends that stayed and helped out, so it all worked out because of course family first. I wanted to stay home if I needed to, but didn't need to. But anyway, back to other people that we saw. Brian, shout out to Brian. Bill, he's always got that Pizza Rats shirt and logo thing. He was there too, so shout out to you. Cool. Mark and his kiddo John, Ross and his son Gavin. Thank you for coming up. These are all people that came up to our booth or whatever. Yep. James Edwards, Matt, Isaiah. Hopefully we're not missing anybody.
Yeah. I got to play some games with Isaiah. We played some Pin. We played Pin for a while, man. Drank a few brews.
Yeah,
he also came up from Kansas City.
Yeah, he's a Kansas City guy, so
we went to the barcade after all that, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, let's talk a little bit. We sold a lot of stuff. I mean, it's kind of hard what to tell about because also it's exhausting. Beth, your wife was there.
Yeah, my wife was there, thankfully, because she's a really good. She's better at selling than me, and then I was sort of trying to price stuff because the night before we stayed with a friend and it's they didn't have internet, sort of. You had to sit in a certain spot and it would sort of work. So it was oh my gosh, so trying to price my games and we got in late. So it was just man, she really did a great job.
Yeah, shout out to her for getting White Castle for us.
Yeah, she got White Castles, hand those things out as a job. Man, that thing's awesome.
Yeah.
She did a good job.
It was actually a lot busier than it had been in past years, or at least since last year at least.
Yeah.
It
was a steady flow of people, man. Just steady flow the whole time.
Right.
I didn't feel overwhelmed at any time, but it was just a steady flow the whole time.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I was just able to buy a lot more just because I was able to leave my table because it just wasn't as busy. But now I always had like 1 or 2 people always at my table, so I kind of had to stay.
Yeah, that was it. So we had 4 tables. We had a ton of stuff to sell, and I think that's also why we had a lot more. Like before, you know, maybe, or actually, I don't know. I mean, it's probably more people, but it was just really busy. So I wish I could have gone around the con and videoed, but I didn't have much time. It was like hard to be able to kind of like leave the booth because you knew that other people were like, there's always somebody getting something. It's less about security. You don't want people taking stuff. Although unfortunately I had two games kind of get swiped. Yep. Right when I met the oh gosh, what's his name? Cool Toy. That was a shout out to him. I don't know if he listens or anything, but he's a YouTuber we really like. Does a lot of the arcade 1-up stuff, and I've always hinted at it on his comments and be like, hey, come out to Moe Game. And he showed up, and I was like, hey, but he literally came up 30 seconds before I knew someone just swiped a game off my table. So I was left with this like, oh, it's so cool to meet you / I want to just tell you why my brain's not in the point of meeting you right now. Like, you know, I actually wanted to give him like a toy or whatever. So
I really want to karate kick these people over here who took my game.
He did a shout out to Mo Game Con and stuff too. I just like he's got nice editing equipment, things like that. So that was cool.
He does a good job.
Yeah, sorry. Norm was there. Pet Country was there. Brett Weiss was there.
Jay from the Game Chasers.
Yeah, Jay from the Game Chasers. And that was fun because I haven't really met him before and that kind of thing. And I got to actually talk to him about like random stuff. He was a good kind of like bar guy to just talk to and
at the arcade you guys were like really hamming it up there. Now he really nice guy. So
and he did it. If you want to see the Fire and Ice episode he did, the Game Chasers actually features Mr. Adam from the podcast. So
if you want to check out Adam's ugly mug. No, you're beautiful, man.
You're beautiful. And to be honest, it took Jay a second because when I mentioned it's like they do so many episodes and see so much stuff. It's kind of like us. Like we probably talked about the same stuff over and over again. I don't think how much he recalled about. All I remember is I drank a good amount at the bar, and I recommended.
Ben really wanted to go to the casino that night.
I did. Well, all of a sudden, Jay was saying like talking to me about craps and playing craps. And I was like, I just do
on the craps.
Yeah, I just do the slots. I rarely ever go. And he was telling me about all the strategy and got me all into it. I was like, shoot. I made a good amount of money selling stuff. Let's do that. And I think it was interesting because people always ask us the same thing if they don't know us. So like, do you have a store? And we're like, no, this is just 1% of our collection because we are idiots. We are crazy. We have too many games.
We're crazy guys.
That's why it's great that convention is called Too Many Games. Yeah. We have too many games. But sold a lot of stuff. I tried to have a nice mix of like eclectic little fun things. Yeah. And they all sold. There was only one kind of like big, I was surprised out of everything else that sold. My little hand radio. What the heck? The Crazy Taxi
little remote control
car like didn't sell. I had I would have gone a little like 40 on it, but it's like. And I picked it up at Portland. And I really liked it. And I just don't have space for it. I think it's just a big item. But like all my other little stuff.
Yeah, tchotchke, like almost tchotchke kind of stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff sold. And that went really well. What about you guys? Tell some stories.
I was surprised. A lot of my PS1 RPG stuff I still have. So I was really surprised that some of those didn't sell.
It's funny
But then there was like some mid-tier like PS2 stuff that was like 15, 10 to $20, man. They sold out quick, super quick. Yeah,
funny, man. PS2, yeah.
I was hoping to sell my Atari 5200 because I haven't fired that thing up, and since I got it like 2 years ago, it just sits in a box with a bunch of games in box, and it was like put a decent price on it, and nobody even cared. So, that was sort of weird.
I was able to get rid of a good amount of my sealed stuff that I don't really collect, but I just find it for like loose price or maybe even complete in box price. So a lot of that stuff, there's a lot of big time collectors out there with kind of that big money that are willing to spend a little bit more
on
for sealed games.
It's
just not something you really find.
You got rid of your Mario sign, didn't you? Yeah, like the McDonald's Mario thing,
I had a few Mario signs that I got rid of. Actually, Ben purchased one of them.
But check out the YouTube. I made a YouTube vid of at least my pickups, which aren't very many because again, we didn't do a lot of pickups this time. But
I had three. Yeah, I was gonna say I had three kind of main pickups. One was on NES. I got a game that I didn't have, Ninja Gaiden 3. Complete in the box.
Yeah, so that's nice. That was a nice pickup.
And I got it for a really good deal because it's been kind of selling around like 200. But I got him. We had it marked 150. But this guy's been selling for the last couple of years in St. Louis. kind of his whole collection, and I kind of gave him the whole, like, he was like, 130 is a good price, and I was like, I know, but how long have you had this? And he's like,
you're working hard on that bad boy.
Yeah, I had to work him. Luckily, actually, Pat Contry came over and kind of helped me out a little bit. He could have blown the bubble and been like, this is actually a $200 game, but he looked at me and kind of like showed me on his phone the price, and he goes, I don't know, maybe you could give him 120 for the deal, and he kind of just let it slide, and the guy agreed to it. So it was a nice of him, at least.
That's cool, yeah. And I like like we already said, the pickup of the McDonald's thing was probably my biggest one. Mm-hmm. The magazines, that kind of stuff.
I didn't buy anything. You gave me the most gifts for like my birthday. You just had some stuff laying around, and then we ended up doing like, I think we all did some trading. Well, we did sort of a trade. I traded you Blitz Special Edition.
Yep.
But then I got, what was it? Night Trap on the Sega CD. But then a girl was asking about about that. And I was like, hey, man, just take it back and sell it to her so you make some money. And then we ended up just working out another deal on that.
Yeah, a girl ended up coming up like literally 3 minutes after I sold it. They're like, we made the trade, and she wanted Night Trap, like, just out of the blue.
I was like,
if I had it, and I just kind of laughed. And and then I just gave Shane the money, so it's all right. If he really wants to buy Night Trap, he can take that money and buy it.
Go towards it. It worked out good, man.
Oh, a non-con pickup, I have to at least shout out Kyle the librarian. I better put that out there. Like, man. I did a great trade right before the con for this awesome, like, Mortal Kombat. Prepare yourself. Or the other side actually says, prepare yourself, Mortal Kombat is here. It's a really cool old advertisement banner, like cloth banner, double-sided, of the old Mortal Kombat. And he's a local guy we've done some trades with. And,
you got your Wii U kiosk through.
Yeah. Great guy. Came over. I could say this to him because you know how when you're a dad you forget stuff. He's gonna hate me for saying this, but he's a librarian. We keep him on the downloads. He showed up the wrong day. We said Thursday, and he showed up on a Tuesday. And I was about to leave. My wife was like sick, and I was like 2 minutes from leaving. I'm glad I was there. And he is outside, and I was like, "Hey, buddy." He's like, "Hey," and I was like, "This isn't Thursday." He felt really bad, but he came in real quick and then. Showed sorry, the lights flickered.
Yeah, there's a little power surge right here. We got tornado coming.
Yeah, actually, there is a big storm. Actually,
is there?
Yeah, there was a lot of lightning outside.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, for real.
Shows how much I pay attention.
Well, luckily we didn't.
Podcast's over. We gotta go.
We didn't get a power surge. It's funny, like editing those. So anyway, I traded him Outrun 2006 for the Xbox. For those that don't know, that's a real hard to find
hard game and actually fun game too.
Yeah, so I traded him straight up for it. I'm very happy. I think we're both very happy with the trade. So I'll have to put some pictures up on there because I love like old advertisement stuff like that. And
you just don't find that stuff anywhere.
Yeah, I need to go over to his. He's always got cool stuff. We need to like. I felt bad because anyway, it was part like he was going to come over and check out the collection and look at stuff. So he felt bad. So if you're listening, Kyle, feel free to come back over.
Come back over. Bring beer. Bring food. Bring it all.
But it's just like, we're all in dad mode, man. You just forget stuff. And
heck yeah, man.
That's how it is. But sorry, I wanted to shout out that pickup. Sorry, guys. Back to the con.
I didn't have any. Like I said, I didn't have any pickups. I got a lot of cool stuff. You could actually check it out on our Facebook. Facebook.com/videogamedads. It's an 8-bit quality video.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Facebook Live, guys. Like,
well, you said your internet wasn't up.
Yeah, I didn't have my Wi-Fi on my phone the second time. Yeah, so this time I'm going to try it one more time, guys. I'm going to try to do the Wi-Fi, and if it's real sketchy again, I'm going to figure something else out to do live.
Might have to just make a video and then just upload it.
Might just do that. But I like the live aspect because there's people asking questions. It's really awesome to like communicate with you guys. So be on the lookout for that because I really enjoy that a ton. I actually feel more comfortable doing that than I do the podcast. It's really weird.
Yeah. I will. Well, maybe you should just do that instead. What are you saying, Shane?
I'm leaving. I'm gone, guys. I'm gone.
Game room tour.
I'm actually gonna
24/7.
I know we've been saying it. I'm finally gonna have at least in my office. I'm gonna totally make a game room video because it's now I'm getting to crunch time with the nursery of kiddo number 2. So my entire office is going to have to move 10 feet to another room, and I'm going to not put it all in boxes. I'm going to keep it out, but like literally it's going to be a big move. So it's all in order. I love the way my office looks. I'm going to finally like do a fun little tour video of it. Nice. Or maybe I could talk like Shane into coming over one day and like filming while I talk about it or whatever. Cool.
So that'd be awesome.
Going through the whole crazy collection and put something up there because I know you guys always ask. So yeah, those are the con pickups. It flies right by. It's really, really busy. What else can we say? I shout out all the fans.
I'm trying to think.
The after party thing, you said you were like Aaron was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I played bubble hockey against him. I did beat him in bubble hockey. He had never played when he was younger at all, so that's kind of an advantage for him.
Yeah, the 2 plumbers shout out one more time, even though we've done it a few times. Like that was a ton of fun, and we had a very heated NBA jam.
Yeah, no, jump. Yeah, oh yeah, we did. We played against 2 buddies, and Ben. We'd been drinking. It was pretty late. It was in the AM actually at that point, and we really annihilated them though in the NBA jam. But Ben was getting very vocal with the boom shakalakas in your face.
It's hard. So I'm pretty competitive in sports games.
No, why are you passing?
He
just goes very into it. But I mean, I was into it too. But it was just funny because the other guys were kind of just real passive about the game. And
we don't care, Ben.
Like, we're going for the championship, dude. It's NBA Jam. It's the biggest trash talking game. The home boom shakalaka. That guy.
It is.
I'm with you. It's got your street cred up.
So something else about the con though, and so Walter Day was there, and if you know him, he's I put up a little quick vid up of. I talked with him. He's just a treasure. He's just a freaking national treasure. He is the coolest guy. He was the one that, if you've seen the King of Kong, he's like the referee. He's the one that started to have keep the scores and high scores of all the arcades. Mm-hmm. He's like before esports was a thing, but. He's one of those guys that's just so well read. He studies meditation like every day, and you can just tell because I told him about I was born in Switzerland when he asked about certain things in the video, and he wants to make like I think he did this for a lot of the staff there, but make like a baseball card for the podcast, and he said what you guys do is just so important. Having just these conversations, having on record for people to hear. I'm like, I don't think people are going to hear this 100 years from now. Thank you, though, Walter. You're very nice. But he autographed my little Wreck-It Ralph handheld little arcade thing.
Fix It Felix.
But I was Fix It Felix. Thank you. I was planning on just talking to him just for a minute or something, but he kept talking it up. I ended up talking to him for like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. He was really nice.
He offered. He's like, reach out to me, send me an email, and do this. So he's just such a great guy and very humble, and I can now see why like Disney put him in the thing, because they probably like interviewed him and said, this guy's so cool, let's make his likeness into the video game and call him Mr. Litwick and basically use his likeness in that movie. So he was really cool. Anything else you guys saw that was interesting or neat?
I mean, I saw that Nintendo PlayStation again.
Yeah,
and kind of like
that's awesome.
Little museum. They had like little free arcade setup.
Yeah, Adam Krolick was there again, hung out with him, and of course, Terry Diebold and his superintendent. I'm wondering if we're kind of taking for granted. I'm wondering if we'll still be able to see him. I'm glad he's out showing on the cons
and cons and stuff in the circuits doing that.
So. Now I remember the M cable. That's something I was going to tell you guys about. So M Cable was there, and they hooked themselves up to the Nintendo PlayStation just to, for the first time ever, that old system thing was in like this really great quality. And I and Adam, I think, also backed. They're on Indiegogo, and again, this is something I'm not trying to plug. I'm just letting you know this is available and out there. M Cable is basically an HDMI cable with a processor in it, its own microprocessor that upscales and does it in a way where you're getting better video quality than you wouldn't. If you really want to see the nitty gritty of this, check out Adam Krolick's video on the M Cable.
Yeah.
He's able to really show and talk about it in depth about why and how this for a specific type of console will work well. Like it makes your, you're talking your PS2, your Xbox, your GameCube, go to HDMI and actually improve the signal and the clarity and the colors. like really night and day. Like it looks great. Dreamcast, everything. So
PS3,
yeah,
even Switch,
and you can move it, so it's not just the cable anymore. It's just an add-on that hooks on the back. So all these like HDMI, like Nintendo 64, HDMI, GameCube, these little one-off things that cost $150 that you plug into the back. You now have something that you can move and put on everything and all your old systems. So check it out. If this sounds interesting, I'm not going to go any more in depth. Check out the M cable. The video and the Indiegogo, so you can get it for 30, 40. I think it's like $60 for one of them, which
I think
honestly, for as much as it'll retail for more, this is like a half or a third the cost of what these things kind of are. So the entry point is a little bit cheaper, but check it out for yourself. Make your own decision. But they were at Mo Game Con, so wanted to give them a little plug.
Yeah, that was really cool, them being there. Sort of introduced it there pretty much, right? I mean, that was like, because it was like a day or two before, pretty much talking about it.
Yeah, I'm sure I will have more videos on it, but definitely he had to run and borrow my microphone and stuff because he was doing a quick little interview, because it's you don't ever get to see something like that. You have the rarest console known in any existence, and will be the rarest console you'll ever see, which again, check it out if you're at a con. Check it out and say hi to Terry, because it's not going to be around forever.
He'll let you play it too.
Yeah, and he'll let you play it and touch it.
He's not a grump about it. Like he's cool about it. Man. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, and of course we have to shout out the all the guys like Chad and everybody else that helped put this con together. Seeing all the old school people, hung out with Dirty a little bit. Yeah.
Old Dirty.
Yeah, we see all the St. Louis guys: Maynard, Chad, Chuck. Oh God, he's on my podcast thing. What the heck? Friedel, Jake. There we go, Jake.
There you go.
The Friedel brothers, all those guys were there, so it's nice to see them. Putting together cons not the easiest thing to do. So, and they make a point to be a lot more personable with the talent that they bring in, and we hear that because I talked to Reggie and I talked to Riggs off. We just played the PS No Man's Sky. I have to get to that at some point, but. They say they go to a lot of cons, but they remember the St. Louis one. The guys kind of, it's here's the thing. It's, they come in and they help sell tickets because you're bringing in personalities. It's tit for tat. But I really think these guys want to bring them in because they like video games. They're not looking at the bottom line. I can tell you that from their con. That's why we support them, not just because they're close, but you get a chance to know them. It's like, come out, check it out. And we appreciate everybody coming up and saying, hey, we heard about this here, and meeting you guys and stuff like that. So that's been wonderful. What else can we say about the con? You got anything else?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's about
great
it.
Con, one of the best cons around, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
check it out. We'll be there hopefully next year, like always.
Yep.
But that was our con festivities. So hopping through some other quick stuff. The Mini Genesis, we're starting to see some videos on it. You guys checking it out?
Yeah, some of the cool kids got the old Mini Jenny.
Yeah.
I wish we could have got that old sucker. But it's looking really good, man. Looks like the emulation's really good. Sounds really good. Awesome that comes with 2 controllers. Tons of games. I mean...
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything bad about it, really. I heard the sound on some stuff's a little bit...
But that's always going to be
But that's always going to be a thing, especially with Sega, man. Sega's always a harder
The Genesis had a different processor for each one of their consoles, and even the early ones. So that's why if you get the one with the HD, basically you want to get level 1, version 1 of this model
the
1.
The one that says high definition graphics.
And that says high definition graphics on it. That's the one with the best sound. But there is actually now this grassroots effort of people trying to go in and fix this and make it so that you can emulate the sound, and then you could just add it to your emulator.
Oh, gotcha.
They're working hard on it. I don't know when it's going to come out, but the people at M2, the people that put this console together, have been known to do really great stuff with all their emulators and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they put out some games on the Switch, right?
And the DS.
Yes, yeah, man, they do good work.
Yeah.
So sort of going into it, everybody sort of knew that we're hoping that was going to be quality. And
this is $80, right?
$80.
Yeah.
So that's not terrible.
Yeah, and so the ones like our friends at My Life in Gaming, Corey and Try, they put it through the ringer. That the GameSat guy, I don't really know him, but they're all ones that can be pretty. They get a lot more detailed than the tech, right? That's not our MO again.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
But if they have, put a quote unquote stamp of approval to a certain site on this thing, it sounds like the Mini Genesis, just to put it in a nutshell for our listeners who don't have time to look through all this, it sounds like the Mini Genesis is going to be something to pick up.
Yeah. Let's just be straight so then everybody knows it's not an at games.
That's what I was about to say.
So avoid at games at all costs.
PlayStation Mini,
Yeah, but it's not a PlayStation Mini type of deal where it's crap.
Good. And the little switches even move, and the volume control.
Cool. Even the slot opens. You can't put a cartridge in there.
The slot opens on the top.
If the slot opens and you can put a cartridge in there, that's at games. Avoid it. Like the Black Plague, we're never going to get. We're never going to get advertised by at games, and we never would advertise for them because they don't put out good stuff.
But I bet they're going to make little cartridges that you can put in there. But I meant like someone on Etsy.
Yeah, that would definitely be like an Etsy type of deal. Sort of like 1UP Arcades, how they have like these toppers for the arcade machines.
Oh yeah,
so cool, man.
Yeah, and we'd already talked about the game list at length. You could check out our old episodes for that. But just letting you know, it seems like the first impressions. If you have a pre-order in, you want to put a pre-order in, you're probably doing a pretty safe bet.
Yep.
Also, quick news, like we always say, you hear it here last. They put out a recent patent for the SNES controllers, much like the NES controllers for the Switch. Right?
Yes, I didn't look into it too much. You sent this through Messenger, and I just looked at it and said, that's interesting. So is this sucker like attaching on the sides? Like okay.
Yeah.
It's going to look sort of weird.
So again, no official announcement, but it would make perfect sense because, they did the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo. And now currently you can only do, what is it called? The NES stuff on Switch that you can play the old games, and they release a couple more every couple of weeks.
It's classics, the NES classics, but it's just worked in on their online.
Sounds like they're going to do the same thing for Super Nintendo. So
please hurry up with that.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
More options.
Yes, more options the better. Maybe some wallpaper. Come on, guys.
And we already talked about the new Switch coming out, but something interesting that's out right now, just to make you aware if you want to upgrade for this, GameStop is doing a promo.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What's this promo?
The promo is, again, they always kind of do this when a new system or a revision comes out. They'll give you an extra trade-in offer. So it's $200 for to trade in a Switch, and and just the Switch by itself and the dock or whatever comes in the box. And you can get these new Switch models, which the Switch Lite is not out yet. We already talked about that. Or the Lite Switch, which it should have been called, but it's okay. It's still $300, but the revision is it's got, and you wouldn't tell that because the box is hardly any different. But
so there is a box difference, because I know on last episode we were talking about this, probably just a SKU, but it's actually there's a box difference. Yes. It's more red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you can check this. The SKU also has 3 letters difference. It starts with SKW instead of SKB or something. But the front of the box has a little bit more red to the background. It looks very different if you look at the two, but if you just glance at it, you might not think about it, but they are pretty night and day different. So if you look up a picture of the new box, then you're picking up a new Switch. But if you have an old Switch, why would you upgrade? And here's what. The new Switch that is the same SKU, it's kind of replacing the old one. The processor is now the Tegra processor, which it's going to run a little bit cooler. The screen is evidently a little bit better, and then it runs more efficiently. And the battery is...
That's a big one.
Yeah. So you're getting 30-40%, depending on the game. You're going from 3.5 hours to 6 to... It's basically 6 to 9 hours instead of 3 to 5.
Yeah, and the more taxing games, so
Yeah, so that's pretty significant.
So it's going to have a better, than the new one coming out.
So if you bought a launch Switch and you've used it and you are okay with unless you want to get a second Switch, here's the deal. GameStop is giving an extra $25, so they'll give you $225 for your old Switch, and you could get a new one for $75. So you're basically getting a new Switch. If all that stuff sounds great to you, upgrading, getting a brand new one, and then also the Joy-Con issues, that's kind of an okay deal. And they're offering an extra $5. Shane pointed out, right?
Yeah, extra $5 per game as long as it's above a $2 value. So maybe hit them with that before, get your trade credit right, and then go in there.
So just to clarify, we're talking about turning in a game.
Yep, turning in a game that's $2 higher value of higher value
trade-in value.
Yeah, trade-in value of $2. They'll give you an extra $5 on top of it. So let's say you give them Minecraft and they give you $3. Add $5 on top of that. So.
Yeah, let's give a couple examples. A lot of times you don't want to trade in stuff into GameStop, but let's say you've got some PS2, or let's say you've got doubles of NES and your Bithead or something. I don't know. Or something where you find out they give $4 or $5, $6, $7. Now it's $12, $11, $13. You trade in a couple of those games, you basically get your Switch for free by trading in your old one that might be a little beat up and you don't have to have the Joy-Con issues. I think it's kind of a neat deal.
I know. I'm thinking about
I'm probably going to do it tomorrow, so I'll report back on the next episode.
I might have to pull the dirty move, the old dirty, is because I got 2 Joy-Cons that aren't working, so I might just put those on the system, trade that sucker in, so then I got Joy-Cons that actually work when it comes back, and pay the extra $75.
And don't forget, Nintendo will fix those for free now.
True.
Just that's also a backup.
Yeah, but I just have the extra battery life and new Joy-Cons that won't mess up or are supposedly not messed up.
Sure.
But another thing to say, though, if you didn't want to go down that route, the storage bank for the power, you could buy one of those, a good one for like $20.
Yeah.
It's got double kickstands. It's really nice. I got one of those.
Okay.
My son broke, but it's a good, good. For the power bank.
So it's not for everybody. Some people don't need to upgrade for it. Yes, that's a great thing. You could just get a power brick thing attached to it.
Yeah, and do it for like $20. But if you didn't want to go down that route,
but this, let's say I've some stuff that didn't sell at the con that's not worth very much.
Oh, actually, one more thing. Sorry, one more thing. The first original Switch. You could hack and do things like that. So that would also be another thing of maybe not wanting to get rid of your original Switch, because the new one I've heard is you're not going to be able to do that. Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to let you guys know that too. That's sort of the downfalls of maybe trading in.
Yeah. So if you want to hack your Switch, it's hackable, obviously, and if you're that type of person, hopefully look into that, I guess.
Yeah.
To do this kind of, it's on the actual hardware that's getting revised. So anyway, just something to let our listeners know about. It's kind of like a neat thing to kind of upgrade and get this extra battery. And again, it's a revision. It doesn't say it's the new. Evidently, this other fancy Switch is still going to come out that we haven't quite heard of. The TurboGrafx Mini is going to come out. We'll talk a lot about that whenever that sucker comes out, since they added a few more game lists, but we could save that for another show. Oh, I saw a movie. I don't know. It's worth pointing. Hobbs and Shaw.
And Shaw.
It's the Fast and the Furious. It's basically The Rock and the guy.
No.
Let me tell you, when I saw the previews for it, my wife and I, like a year ago or 6 months ago, we were both like, dude, this looks good. They look great. This movie is not good. Not good. I was so disappointed. You know what happened? As I realized what this movie was when I was going through it, and I thought, like, okay, it's not Fast and Furious, but it made me wish it was a Fast and Furious movie. That's how bad it was.
Really?
It was just like they were mean to each other the whole time. Their banter, they're like one-upping. They kept taking a long joke.
Yeah.
And I feel like way too long. I can watch. How about this? It wanted to be like a Mission Impossible movie, which I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you watch the new ones. The new Mission Impossible movies are wonderful. They're really good. Ghost Protocol.
Never watched them.
The early ones and the late ones have been good. Yeah,
I'm telling you, Shane, you are missing out. Like, those movies are action done right, especially the last two. The action scenes are so good. I've seen like breakdowns of stuntmen showing those movies and showing how these cuts are so good and everything like that. Like, good action movies, the new Mission Impossible movies, you can take what you feel about, Tom Cruise. A lot of people do, obviously, because his approval rating is, if there's such a thing for Tom Cruise, it's kind of like, he's kind of weird. Yeah. But he brings in the money for certain things. Not that Mummy movie that was evidently terrible not too long ago. But it's basically like a bad impersonation of a Mission Impossible movie. It's Hobbs and Shaw. Skip it. So I tried to fall asleep, and my wife was like waking me up thinking I was accidentally falling asleep. I was like, no, honey, this is a great. Do you ever feel like you're a dad and you just like movies are an opportunity to just take a nice nap?
Yeah, I'd rather take a nap than watch a movie nowadays.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, I barely make it through TV shows.
You're old when that's happening.
Yeah,
God, it just tried to end 3 times, and then they ended up going on Samoa and doing all this other stuff. He at one point.
How many doors were kicked? Like when somebody's looking through a peephole.
Oh, just
one. Okay.
Well, no, he's pulling a helicopter on one end and holding onto a truck with another.
Please tell me Rock was at least doing that.
Yes.
Okay. At least it was The Rock. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was just.
They like smashed them together.
The dialogue was just so bad. And what's great is Idris Elba. Yeah, that dude was the. He's from The Wire. He was going to be the first like African American James Bond.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. And he's a great actor, and he was like a cyborg villain. I thought this would be great. And
I did see that.
Nope. It didn't work out. It's like they ruined it on him. So anyway, you could skip Hobbs and Shaw. It didn't do that well in the.
Yeah. I was just talking with a buddy about things we wouldn't have believed like 15 years ago, and one thing was to be like The Rock is the highest paid male actor.
Yeah, that's very true.
If you'd have told me that when he was like doing WWF, I would have said, "Get the hell out of here!" Like he'll make more than George Clooney or Tom Cruise or any of those guys.
You know, he serves a purpose, man. He's a good action star.
No, it is.
I
just never would have
for this generation. You know?
Beat out Vin Diesel, that's for sure.
Thankfully, Vin Diesel I never bought into.
Can we think about this for a second? Vin Diesel. We're not a movie podcast. Sorry. He did the voice of the Iron Giant, and he did the voice of Groot.
Did he? I didn't even know that.
Yes, he does. He does Iron Groot or whatever. That's okay. So what I'm telling you is
best acting.
Three words, right? He says 3 words, and he doesn't get paid. He can't. I'm assuming get paid as much as the other actors, but technically, he's in all these movies.
Yeah,
they're using him just to say these few words, and also Iron Giant. In Iron Giant, he doesn't talk. He does all this kind of stuff because he's got this low voice.
Yeah.
So for saying 3 words and being in these iconic films, he's getting millions of dollars. Like no one does that.
Yeah.
I don't care who he is, and you could say whatever. And him and The Rock have beef.
Yeah.
The Rock can't get away with just humming and not being physically in a movie and getting paid so much.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Although I think it's in his contract, they has to have his shirt off or being like a wife beater or something.
Right.
Got him.
Just for
if you want that $20 million, you gotta be shirtless for a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Enough about that. Okay. Moving on. Doodly-doo. Let's move on to our emails. Emails also including our iTunes and our Facebook. We didn't get to it last time, so let's get to it. Shane, do you want to do our iTunes?
Let's do the iTunes. We only got 2 of them. You guys need to start pumping those things out. We need some more 5 stars in our lives. But this comes from Fatty73, and the title of it says The Rad Dads. I found this podcast a few years back and love every episode and hate the in-between wait for the next. Keep it up, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for Gingerbread.
From
Gingerbread, the gaming dad. We're just talking about that.
Ginger beard.
Ginger beard. Did I say bread?
Yeah, I think he's got a red beard.
Yeah. We were talking about a red beard. Yeah. So
all right. Sorry for the hate in between the wait. Gotcha. Yeah. But thank you for that. We appreciate that.
Thank you, man. Yeah. And sorry. We would
Fatty
like to pump out
73,
more.
the Rad Dads. All right.
All right, then was this Izzy 78? A must listen. I'm a new listener, tuning in for about 2 months now. I'm almost through all the episodes from 0 to now.
Wow, thank you.
What an exciting ride so far. As a father of 3, the show has taken me on a roller coaster of emotions. I hear you. The excitement of talking about video games, the birth of children, to the nightmares of children illness. I think the best podcast out there, and I still tell everyone I know about the show. Actually, in a Facebook group that I'm in, someone asked for everyone's favorite podcast, so I said the Video Game Dads, and I'm almost 100% sure Adam liked my comment. How cool is that? Anyways, keep up doing what you're doing because you have a fan for life. Well, thank you.
Very nice.
That was very nice.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
It really has been a roller coaster of emotions, and we're glad to be on this roller coaster.
Yeah,
that's for sure. It's been fun.
Yeah, Facebook.
So Joe Frankham kind of sent us a message, and he said I was able to get my hands on one of the Video Game Dad shirts from the Married Guy Gamer at the Game On Expo in Phoenix.
Heck yeah!
Yeah, thank you, TJ.
Yeah, shout out to Joe.
Gamer.
We got that thing. I forgot to shout him out. Thanks, Joe.
He was a really nice guy, and it was great to chat with him. I discovered your podcast a few months ago, and I've enjoyed catching up. My wife and I are expecting our first child in just a couple of months. Congratulations on that.
Congrats, man. Awesome.
So it has been great listening to your tips on gaming while parenting. Thanks for your podcast. So
yeah, thanks.
Thank you,
that's
man.
Great, Joe. Thank you.
Get ready for those diaper changes, buddy.
You got one, Ben?
Brian Hall, he says, hi there. Learned about you guys via Married Guy Gamer at Game On Expo. Working on bringing Atari Lynx, Vectrex, and Coleco on Amazon phones and tablets. He's a video game dad.
Nice.
And here's him testing some early builds of his NVIDIA Shield. Look
That's
at that,
legit.
with his kiddo.
Yeah.
I really love retro
That's
video
awesome.
games. Anyway, hope to see you at PRGE this year. He said a great way to share a bond with your kids are the old video games. So that's cool. I have to make sure we reply back to you on the Facebook. But thank you, Brian Hall.
Yeah. Thank you, man. That looks awesome.
Won't be at Portland this year though.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I got one from Austin Scritchfield.
We read that one last time.
Oh, did we? Okay,
yep.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Some Jimmy Taylor, maybe that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It says Jimmy said, "Hey guys, do you guys have an official Facebook group?"
We kind of just have our standard Video Game Dads Facebook page.
Yep.
It's not really a closed group or anything, but you can always message us if you want to talk or chat.
Yeah.
It says I'm part of the Video Game Dads group, but I'm not sure if it's related.
Yeah, it's all kind of the same thing.
And then he
that one isn't. I mean, that the Video Game Dads group, but I'm not sure if it's related. The emblems and branding are different. So just to clarify, we do not have a Facebook group.
Yeah,
we just have our Facebook page, which is kind of like our group. But I think it's just more to manage, and then that way, if somebody goes up there and tries to put on ads, like we already have, sometimes you get these bots like placing ads. So if people want to start a Video Game Dads group kind of on their own, that'd be kind of different. But it kind of sounds like there's already one out there, but we're not affiliated with that one. So really it's just probably simpler to just talk about your pickups or whatever. You do it directly with us on your page or on the wall.
Everybody should throw up their pickups on the wall. That'd be cool.
Whatever you like to do. Another Michael Weisberg just wanted to say he's recently discovered this podcast, and as someone who is not only a dad of a 7-year-old girl but works in the video game industry, I love listening to this, so appreciate that. And then he put in the suggestion of the Back to the Future for the Video Game Book Club. So sorry if we mentioned that last time, but we just want to cover that. How about Ian McCarthy finishing out our Facebook?
Yeah, absolutely. Ian said, "Hey dads, checking in. I had a game for the Video Game Dad Book Club and a question for the podcast. I'll try to break up the nonstop NES games with my pick."
I don't agree with that.
No, thank you so much.
Ben likes it. I don't.
But and I was thinking the fact that there is 4 of you now. My pick is X-Men Legends 2: Rise of the Apocalypse.
Nice.
It was a game me and my friends got really into for a while leveling up and hanging out. It was tons of fun. Hopefully it'll be the same for you guys. My question is, how has collecting and being in public events since you guys started the podcast? Do you find it easier to get a hold of games? Do you have a broader reach with other video game celebrities?
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote, yeah. And did it make you guys get more into games? Thanks so much. I wish you all the best.
Let me read that and make sure I'm getting that right. My question is now, collecting been public events since you guys started, do you find it easier to get a hold of games? Do you have a broader reach of it?
Like people recognize us to give us better deals. I've had maybe a couple times where I've been at like a con and somebody has seen that like I'm like part of the podcast, or had thought it was really cool and kind of given me a little bit of a deal because of that. And I've had a few people give me a few free things, but not anything super significant. I'm almost like reverse starstruck when people come up and recognize me or recognize us with our shirts on. It's like, hey, I listened to you.
It's humbling.
That's humbling, and people who tell me that they really appreciate listening to us, and it really, whether they're going through a hard time or even just going to work or whatever. All those little things just helps us and makes us feel good about what we're doing. So
it's kind of a small community. So I guess my answer would be like, yes, it's like technically some of the the bigger YouTubers and some of the other people we go up to. When you at least create something, you kind of feel like you at least have something, like you're on a. I'm still always a fan. Like I would meet people, so it's kind of hard to say. Like, and also some of the YouTubers might see us and know us and recognize us, but maybe not necessarily. Since it's not YouTube, I think we're not quite in that
we're
YouTube.
We're in a different realm of everybody.
We're in a different realm, and there's not that many podcasts out there. But I think a lot of YouTubers have been really, nice to us because we'll shout them out or something like that. So
I think a lot of them are personable in general. So even a lot of the fans, when you go to these cons, they'll be willing to talk to you. They're not going to like just turn around and kind of shun you a lot.
I know it sounds like cliche or touchy-feely, but it's more about the friendships than the actual, let's say, working relationships. Because I feel like if you're starting to network, if you're doing it beyond something like, oh, hey, the gaming historian, we have a lot of stuff from our collections in his videos. It's cool when he shouts us out or we hang out with him or something like that. But if it ever got to the point where we're like, having to do business deals with Norm and saying like, please give us a 30. Like, we don't really do that. And that's why with sponsors and everything else, like, we don't usually like go into that realm because it's kind of, it doesn't feel, it just, sometimes, I don't want to say it feels gross because some people have to do that. Yeah. But for us, we're in this position where we literally are doing this for each other and we're doing it for our hobby, and then we're finding friends along the way, and then we're also getting feedback that you appreciate it. That's kind of what drives us. Not saying that the question was like, does this drive you? It's like the bonus, but like, to answer your question, yes, we've gotten like random. It's nice to like get like, oh, hey, are you a friend of this or that, or I heard like, or you're with this, or it's but like, we heard Reggie would see your shirt, so it's like, you have your shirt, what's it about? It's kind of very subtle.
I feel like for me, even though it's more, a lot of those connections are made because we're more vendors and we have a table, and so you get there like an hour and a half early, so you're kind of there with all those people like all next to you the whole day for like 8 hours, sometimes 2-day shows and stuff like that. So
all vendors, like even Married Guy Gamer, TJ, sorry,
and we've been going there year after
those people.
Exactly, and we've been going there year after year, so you really get to know the same people over and over again. It might not be that you're quote unquote a celebrity, but if you keep going and you're just even a normal person, just going to these events, you're gonna end up meeting these people, and they'll end up giving you more deals when you get to meet them more often, and they recognize
Just the way it works in real life too.
Yeah, cool. All right, so our emails, email us at videogamedads@yahoo.com. This is from Billy Craddock. He's also got a YouTube as well. God, it's killing me too. He plays with his kiddos. We've shouted him out before. Great seeing you guys again, as always. Thank you so much for the St. Jude's donation. Thank you. I don't know if that was or one of us probably did that. And for buying Evie's artwork. It made her day. Hope you guys had as much fun as we all did. Yeah, thank you for that. I forgot to mention that pickup. I didn't put it in the... cool, his kiddo was sending... so it's really just cute because he had a booth in the corner and he had his kids out there, and he has a kid, maybe a teenager, like 12, like selling artwork, which was cool, and I was going to do that. And then he had this like little... I don't know, 4-year-old, 5-year-old girl who like wanted to sell her artwork too, and I could tell she was upset. And so she had this little drawing, it's a simple, fun drawing of like her and her kids or something. And, and I was just kind of like, oh, what's that? Like, how much you asking for that? And she's like, I don't know, 4. So thank God she didn't say like $20 or $50, because I probably $50. I know I would have paid more. So
how much was it?
She said $5.
Oh, deal.
So, and I said, "Oh, that's great.
That's way too cheap.
That sounds like a good deal." Yeah,
bad businessman.
Oh man, no, it was funny because as soon as I asked her that, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm asking the kiddo." No,
that could have went bad.
No, it was great. I would have given her whatever. She's a cute little girl. She was dressed up as Captain Marvel. I would have given her whatever she wanted for that. So I'm glglad she kept it at $5. I think that was a good deal.
Steal.
We both
should have been like trade me GTA 5 or something like that.
I did. I still had that young kid who I had a couple trades. Like, that's the cool thing about having a booth. Here's another fun thing. Like, people will come up and say, "Do you take trades?" And I just am usually honest to like, well, usually not, but I'll see what you have.
I always like
and
to
it's
see what
always
people have.
fun to see what people have, because I'd say like 1 out of 4 times, sometimes it's worth doing the trade. So that's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, and a lot of times they'll give you a little bit more because they know you have a table.
Yeah,
like the guy next to me,
nice,
he was like, if you do 20% more in trade or whatever, I'll do it.
Yeah. This email is from Aaron. He was the one that we've kind of already shouted out that met us at Mo Game Con. Really nice guy. He said, "This is Aaron. Just wanted to say I had a great time last weekend at Mo Game Con and visiting with you guys. Thank you, Adam, for remembering me from last year and leaving me so surprised I didn't know how to respond. Thank you, Ben, for the hot tip on a discount at your table." What? Yeah, I remember we did the discounts of... because he didn't quite read the episode. I said, "Hey, you should have kind of listened to it in lunch and come back." So you got the $10 discount from each of us. I think Dan, was that right, who got your discount? I got a discount. Michael or Adam did too.
I remember that. Yep.
So if you said pro tip or something, the first one at our table, and I think Dan did that last year, and he got a shirt too. So
he was the one. I'm pretty sure that he got the shirt. Yeah.
So sorry, it's always like when we're doing everything, people come up like we always. It's like face and name and that kind of stuff. So we're getting better at it year after year. Thank you, Mike, for the Bad Street Brawler manual and showing off your Galaga skills and introducing me to bubble hockey. Everybody needs to be introduced to bubble hockey.
I know. I need to get some bubble hockey. unlocking.
I want to get rid of that and get a bubble. I just want to buy one of the it's
new
so
ones.
Yeah, but they're like $1,500. Thank you, Shane, for sharing a common interest in balloon fight and helping me feel welcome. That should help you guys put a face to the name. Had a ton of fun hanging out, and I'm already looking forward to next year. Hoping my Super Mario Brothers high score at 2 Plumbers stands, that I can improve upon it. Yeah, he got a high score at the arcade, the actual arcade, so that was cool.
Yeah, he said my skills in Galaga, but really he like doubled my high score. So he is ridiculous. By the way, he does have a blog. He didn't even he just mentioned it. Didn't tell me to promote or anything. But he actually is like beating every NES game, and he's already beaten like 136 NES games. Yeah, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll totally plug him. He did give a book club pick, which is Super Spy Hunter on the NES, which I put in there. He said it's a zany NES game.
That's a good one.
That seems to almost certainly be completely unknown on a system that has been widely covered over the years. And what you're alluding to, you gave this PS. But we'll shout him out here on the podcast. Wanted to let you guys go about his blog. It's called takeontheneslibrary.com, where he's beating every licensed NES game, featuring long reviews from the perspective of someone completing the game, relatively difficulty ranking, and links to gameplay videos. He's closing in on 20% of the library completed. And while it's fun working a full-time job and raising a family, I'll still be working on this when no one cares about the NES anymore. I'm not looking for a promotion or whatever. Just thought, anyway, we just gave it to you. So check that out. He's a listener that is trying to beat every game on the NES.
You're crazy, nice, man.
Yeah, so check out his blog. It's takeontheneslibrary.com. Sounds like fun. Sounds like a cool thing to do to help the years go by. All those years. He's gonna be old and gray. I would say, hopefully, I bet you he's a smart enough guy. He's doing the twitchy stuff first.
Yeah,
because dude, you're already in your 30s, I think, or maybe you're in your 20s. Sorry, buddy. I don't know. I don't know how old you are.
But you look as a collector, I think it's more impressive to beat every game than to have every game. That's like mad skills.
Oh yeah, dude. Especially these NES games. Way tough.
All right. This email is from Andrew Fulton. Hi, guys. Recently found your podcast and have binged all the episodes. Whoa. Thanks. I love the show. I'm a video game dad from Australia. Hey, good day. All this stuff. Now he's going to hate us. Yeah. Eating at Macca's. Now that's a knife.
Don't do that.
If I called him a Kiwi, then he would be pissed.
Do that.
You know what? They do it back to us. They make fun of America. That's part of what I love about Australia. It's everybody razzes each other.
No,
they know.
Cool.
They know they've got it good down there. They don't need us to make fun of them about it. But anyway, he says, I have 2 boys that are 5 years old and 2 years old. That's fun, buddy.
Nice.
Have you stopped doing your pickup segment? That was one of my favorite parts of the show.
We'll bring it back.
And we try to, but here's the thing: we go through the whole show, and it gets late at night. It's already like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're like, oh man, we got to go through pickups, and it's going to take it, and we kind of cut it out. So we try our best to plug it in. We kind of talked about it.
We'll try to do that. Yeah, implement it into the Facebook. So check that out if you didn't see it.
And we need to get over the fact it kind of also feels like, hey, look what I have, look what I picked up. And part of that gets a little like showy offy. But I think you guys appreciate it, so we should get over it. Maybe.
That was the first few times we did it. I was like, "This sounds too showy."
Because we do have impressive collections and really neat stuff. But when you say that out loud, you feel like a DICK. Yeah. Can I spell things?
Yeah.
I spelled it. Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
Earmuffs.
Yeah.
Lady earmuffs.
Short for Richard. I have a book club pick, and it's cannon fodder for the SNES. Don't think it's in the top 15. You are correct. It is totally not. I never owned this game, but I found very fond memories of renting it back in the day with my best friend, and I would love to hear your opinions on the game. So that is in the...
I didn't realize Cannon Fodder was on the SNES.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. What he says.
Atari Jag, man. That's the only one I knew of. So sweet.
Awesome. Okay, so we did... Yeah, so let's see. Next email. It's been a bit since I emailed you guys. Just wanted to chime in a couple things. First, sorry to hear about the bad review for such a... Oh, no, this is an old one. Sorry. But he replied again recently. Adam, thanks for the reply.
It was a DOS game too. I remember that.
What was it?
That Cannon Fodder was a DOS game when I remembered it. It was.
Oh,
sorry. I was.
No, that's okay. This episode is from Kevin. Thanks for the reply. I played and tried to beat 2 for the moment. He's playing Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate on the 3DS. It was cheap and said, why not? He's kind of talking about Buffalo and giving some recommendations on that. Okay, hey, this email is from Derek. Hey, guys, I stumbled across your cast recently while listening to the Retro Game Squad. While I'm not a dad, I am a retro gamer, and I love input from the subject, and the dad stuff is great, too. It makes me feel what it's like to be a papa. Well, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks, buddy. We love it.
Thank you,
Anyway, to the meat of the order, I wanted to offer a video game book club pick, and that is Katamari Damacy. I had to check this baby out. Without a doubt, it is one of the most original concepts I've ever seen in a game. PS2 game is fun, classic, amazing soundtrack. I hope it's not in the top 15%, meets the criteria. I'd love to hear you guys talk about it. I haven't come close to beating it yet, but that's okay. It's the type of game where you can play one level over and over. I will tell you this. Yes, we'll put it in our video game book club, and I have beaten this, and I've had this back since it came out in 2003 or 4.
I don't know.
To the US.
I didn't know it either.
Yeah, it's where you roll stuff up and pick it up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It is completely different. And
losing my mind, dude.
Yeah. The other I'm is curious, which NES controllers you guys use when you plug and play in that system? Do you use a standard square pad, the dog bone, the Max? Would love to hear you talk about your favorite peripherals. We do have an episode about our peripherals. So if you just stumbled on our podcast, if you go back, I think we put it in our episode title, but this would have been in the
3
first
to 5.
No, I think
no. It was right when I started. Actually,
yeah,
it was actually might have been my first. It might have been my first or second episode.
Yeah.
It was in the mid-20s.
Yeah, so around there, check it out because we did talk about peripherals. But if you ever use the turbo buttons and cheats and stuff like that, and so check that episode out. We talk a lot about it and the NES advantage. But I will say I usually just go with the old school.
I use original. I don't like the D-pad on the Max personally. For shooters, the only thing you can do it for shooters where you don't have to keep stabbing the button, punching it over and over again. That's the only advantage for the Max.
I usually play with the dog bone just because it fits my hand better.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Not so squared off. It's just,
fits
perfect.
I don't know if I own a dog bone.
Yeah, it fits so nice, man. I play dog bone all the time. Yep.
Okay. Well, anyway, it says onward. Thanks. So glad to finally have got caught up. Can't wait for the new episode. He said new sewed instead of episode. He calls it like how we say the pod. I've never heard that before. Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you, Mr. D Drummer. Yeah, that's funny. The new Zoe. And as always, good vibes to Shane and his daughter and family.
Thank you.
I'll be in contact lots. Get used to it, dads. From Derek. Thanks a lot. We got a lot of Derek's as fans, but different names. So Derek's a commonality. And then Ben got back to you. Nice from here to you too. Also interested in the Laserdisc. Okay. So next one. This one comes from John Fox. Hi, gents. Recently left a 5-star review on iTunes under the name Isa78. Thank you. We just read that. The only complaint I have on the show is that it's not daily. Can you imagine if we did daily?
Oh my God.
You wouldn't want to hear that.
No, it would get real boring.
He wanted to submit a video game book club pick, and this is why it's important, John, for you giving us an email. And if I tell you, this is what good luck happens. That's why we like those iTunes reviews. And again, we only plug it. Yeah. Just so more people can find us and we get to closer to the podcast levels of the people who have, the IGNs and the professional stuff. His pick is Samurai Western for the PS2 and his got picked.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yep.
Nice.
So look at that. That was just karma because he went in there with all the other ones that have been in there and he got picked. It's an action adventure game where you travel to the Wild West looking for your brother. I played it back in the day and loved it, but never owned it. This is funny. This is a common occurrence. A lot of people have this, and this is what we want. We want this nostalgia feeling of, was this a game I loved back then? Is it still good now? This is perfect. This is what we love. Until recently picked up for pretty cheap for an Atlas game. Anywho, love the podcast, love the show, and wish you all the absolute best. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting close. I think just one or two more. Sorry getting caught up on the emails, but we want to...
Yeah, we've been ignoring them for a little bit, so getting caught up, guys.
Yeah, shout you out. This is from Mike Bedley. Hey, fellas, whelp. Last email I sent, this one's taken longer, a couple months to send. First of all, congrats to the new edition, Ben. It's fun to think of all the dads on the podcast having multiple kids. This makes a lot of the glorious future nerds hopefully grow up loving games as much as we do.
Yes. Yeah.
With your recent, with your recent in-depth look at the Atari, thank you for writing about that.
Yes, thank you.
We spent a good amount of time kind of prepping for that. Unlike we don't a good amount of time, not a whole bunch. It got me thinking about other old school games and made me wonder if any of you played the Commodore games too. If you have, give a try of Law of the West or Airborne Ranger.
Okay.
The latter of the Commodore is a both fun gameplay and fascinating book that comes with it.
Okay.
It describes in detail the history behind the military units, which I had no clue about. Law of the West is an easy-to-play, short, sort of a mashup between an FPS and a choose-your-own-adventure. That sounds interesting. All set in the Wild West. If you are open to Commodore games, I know you will all get a massive kick out of them. Also, they will make for shorter games and easier to deal with kids. Thank you. That's good to know. Yeah. The main reason I'm actually writing those is just a handheld holla, and I think you will all enjoy, which thank you for reminding us. We need to get to our handheld holla real quick before we end the episode. It's called Kingdom New Lands. It's a platformer, and it's on the Switch. This is, we'll make this Shane's pick almost, too, because I don't think if he had one. It's a side-scrolling, 8-bit looking game where you try to keep in the town from being overrun at the night by these creepy creatures called the Greed. The ultimate goal is to rebuild, and each level, each day, I won't get too much into it. The game is loads of fun, basically, and he said the replay value is good, too. Curious if any of you have any thoughts about what age you should have your kids watch and play video games rather than putting on Curious George or Sesame Street. I've been wondering if my 19-month-old would enjoy watching Breath of the Wild on the big screen. Thoughts? I hope we didn't. We talked a little bit about this, but sometimes Adam reads through the emails and like is good at paraphrasing them. So I kind of remember hearing something about that, about someone asking us what age to start. I mean, I don't. So sorry if we already answered your question, but we can answer it again since there's new dads here. Yeah. But I think it's whenever they want to pay attention to it. Yep. It's going to be short, right? 2-year-old has 2-minute attention span. 3-year-old has a 3-minute attention span. I would say Breath of the Wild. If they, I think car games right now. We're doing Horizon, not Zero Dawn, but it's Horizon the car game.
Yeah.
Horizon Ferrari, whatever it's called. That or Rocket League or something where they could see something real simple. Yeah. Obviously like Mario and stuff like that. But maybe they would think Breath of the Wild's good. I kind of feel it kind of depends. It doesn't hurt to try, but don't be surprised if your kid runs away in 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, this depends on.
I try with characters that my kid knows, like Mickey games, because he likes Mickey Mouse and stuff. All those kinds of things.
See, I've tried a lot of those, and it's just whatever she really picks out. Usually she tries, or Lexi sticks to. So if she picks it, she's more willing to try it. Gotcha. So just let them pick, I would say, more than you like going to hammer Mario Brothers 3 down their throat or something like that. Right. Just let them pick. I mean, they're going to pick some turd burglars in there. I mean, like I've had to play like the rat game. What's that dang rat game? It's so horrible. I want to forget it, but I play it with her and she likes it. So we'll just keep playing it. Yeah. The SpongeBob game, she actually introduced me to a great game. So sometimes kids will do that too.
Yeah. So great. Well, thank you for the emails and all the messages. Sorry, it took a little while to get back with everybody, but we'll try to do that every episode. All right, moving on. Groovy. It is that time again for our
Handheld Holla.
All right. Yeah. Our Handheld Holla is a segment where we just kind of shout out any kind of handheld game and just recommend it because it doesn't get enough love in the collector community. It's a great cheap way to beef up your collection. I think handheld games are great. You can blow them up now. You can get a Game Boy player, all this other kind of stuff. And anything is fair game from the Atari Lynx all the way up to the Switch. We'll start with Shane. Shane, what do you got for your Handheld Holla pick for episode 48? Go.
Zelda 4 Swords. I'm going to sort of cheat on this. I actually played it on GameCube, but here's the knock, guys. I hooked up the little GameCube controller, so each person, I know you guys are looking at me a little weird.
No.
But I had 4 of them, had 4 buddies. I actually had to buy 2 extra ones for my buddies so they could play, because I thought this thing was going to be so amazing. And it was fun, but it didn't really hold my friend's attention except for one. So me and him just played it the whole time, and the other 2 were like, it was cool, but not really. So I was rolling around with like 5 SPs at one time. So, yeah, back in the day too, like 20 years old. I'm like, boy. But it's fun, man. I mean, having the different the SPs, being able to go in the different dungeons and separate from each other. It's top-down view Zelda game. A lot of you guys will probably know it, but it's amazing. I love it. It's fun.
Awesome. All right, Michael, what's your handheld holo pick?
My game is for the Game Boy Color. It is Mickey's Speedway USA.
Okay.
And it's just a nice little racing game. Obviously, they kind of copied the success of Mario Kart and the Diddy Kong Racing, but it actually came from Rare, which so it's a decent game. And even kind of the game modes is the same, like has the Grand Prix multiplayer and then kind of like a battle you can do with buddies. So that's pretty fun. But overall, like graphics are pretty good for that age, and just a fun little game to play.
Fun, awesome. While you were talking, I was thinking about. You remember we had that person come up to us, and he, he didn't know what our faces looked like, but he knew what we sounded like, and he couldn't. He was thinking and I don't know. I'm sorry to thought about this, but it was just really funny to say oh, Shane looks like what I thought Adam would look like, and Michael looks completely different. And then even me too. He said you guys don't. And I remember doing the same thing when and it's, you could find us. I mean, we have our Facebook and we take some pictures of us together and all this other kind of stuff. And our videos sometimes have us on there, but again, we're more analog, less digital. We've yet to come out with a poster. But what's funny is I remember doing that too when I would listen to a podcast. I listened to them for a year, and my brain, I think when you hear somebody, you start to get a visual picture of them. And anyway, I just thought that was funny. Sorry, Michael.
No, you're good.
That was your pick.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was another fan thing that kind of came up.
I know,
I did this same thing.
I do that all the time too. It's like morning shows, on the radio and stuff. I always picture the guy gonna look like this.
Casey Kasem. Do you remember Casey Kasem? When you see the guy, you're like, oh,
not what you thought.
Yeah.
It sort of kills it.
That's kind of what he did too. He kind of looked at us like, oh, you're not what we pictured. It was like,
not impressed, guys. Hit the gym.
What a handheld holo pick do you got, Ben?
Yeah, so my handheld holo pick, because I've been getting into the DS and collecting for that. We'll talk more about kind of those pickups later on the next episode. But I picked up one that has been on my radar for a while, and it's really good. It's called Little Red Riding Hood Zombie Barbecue for the Nintendo DS. I was so happy to pick this up. This is like it's kind of an expensive game. It can go for over $100 now, I guess. I got it for a good deal. Because I got a couple other games with it. But it's called Little Red Riding Hood Zombie Barbecue. It is actually a shooter. It's basically and the DS has 2 screens. And here's what I found out about why I have trouble with the DS and why I never liked it. I'm left-handed. No, seriously, the DS, you're meant to use the stylus with your right hand, but naturally you hold it like a pin. And so your left hand, that's why it's been so hard. And that's why I saw in a game it gave a left hand. I was like, no wonder the DS. So if you're, DS is not really meant for left-handed players. I could still play it, and you can do okay with it.
You could maybe get a 3DS and get the C Pro attachment, and it's got dual, so then you could switch off to have your right do that. I'm not for sure if it does that.
I warmed over. I used to be a GBA fan, and recently I've kind of gotten into it. I'll probably get a 3DS sometime, especially with the Switch now. The new Switch Lite's going to, a lot of people are going to be used and stuff. Because actually the 3DS is still really expensive. You're talking used 3DSs selling for like $200 and stuff. Like, what the heck?
Boy.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. But anyway, back to the game. Little Red Riding Hood Zombie Barbecue. It uses the top screen. You could shoot from the bottom and see top, so it's kind of like a vertical shooter. You can move left and right, get out of the way. The style is really interesting. Little Red Riding Hood is kind of risque.
She's loaded.
She's
got the guns too.
Good for her. How about we'll say that? Little Red Riding Hood, good for you and all you do. she gets discounts. How about that? Our email earlier. She's the type of person that like with us. We're just a bunch of dads or whatever. But somebody like her is like, oh, I'll hold the door open for you. You can use my back as a doormat. But the gameplay's great. Just check out some games.
Fun
A lot of it's expensive.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got style, it's got humor, it's got blood and gore, it's got an old school vibe to it, mixed with kind of a new school production about music. Yeah. So check that one out. That one's great. All right, that is our Handheld Holla picks for this episode. I think, guys, what do you guys say? Is it an episode?
I think we're about done.
It's getting to be one at this point. Thank you so much for our sponsor, Old School Gamer Magazine.
Thank you.
Check it out if you're so inclined. And then also, we'll see you again in 3 weeks.
Woohoo!
Send us an email, videogamedads@yahoo.com. Reach out to us. Check out our Facebook page. Give us a review on iTunes, too. We love that.
Yes.
5 stars helps us be seen. We really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking time out of your day to hear us yuckle about. I think episode 48, guys.
It's in the books.
The books.
Thank you.